of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Southwest.
After yesterday's magnificent opening day, the marathon that is baseball season begins in earnest. If that 3-2 victory is any indication, your Rangers are built to find a way to win. Tonight, Martin Perez makes his 2016 debut, healthy and ready to fulfill the promise of his potential and ability. Your Rangers meet the Seattle Mariners in the season's first game under the lights, next on Fox Sports Southwest. Texas Rangers baseball is presented by AT high-speed internet. And a beautiful evening here at Globe Life Park tonight. Rangers and Mariners getting set to match up in Game 2. And before the game, Prince Fielder awarded the Comeback Player of the Year award that he was garnered from the Major League Baseball Players Alumni Association. So Prince with that honor tonight, and very well deserved after his 2015 season. Hello everyone, with Tom Grieve, Steve Busby. Glad you could join us. Rangers looking to make it 2 in a row over the Mariners, and they have a left-hander again on the mound, Martin Perez tonight, Tom.
Well, I'm sure Martin watched the game yesterday. Yeah. He saw how Cole Hamels went about his business. Martin's a little bit different type of pitcher, not quite a strikeout pitcher, more of a ground ball pitcher. Be very important for him to keep his fastball down, make it sink, get a lot of ground balls. In his last 5 home starts, he's pitched very well, an ERA just above 2. The Mariners are a tough offensive team. I guess the key is keep the ball down, get ground balls, and be careful with Kyle Seager.
Yeah, 2 left-handed hitters that hurt left-handed pitchers. So I'm sure Martin is well aware of that. He will try to keep the ball out of the middle of the plate. Well, the Rangers still on track to be 162-0 this year. Mariners can't say the same thing. Game 2 of this series coming up from Globe Life Park right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealer. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today for incredible deals and see why Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T high-speed internet. Get a deal worth talking about. Get high-speed internet from AT&T. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Well, a breezy evening here in North Texas. Rangers taking the field, and Martin Perez set for his inaugural outing of 2016. Before we get things underway, let's sit down and check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, Buzz, Martin Perez looking to build on that success from the end of last season. He says he feels like a new person, a new pitcher. He feels like he's growing up kind of right before everyone's eyes, and he says it is time now for his potential to be realized.
Trying to stay focused every inning, every pitch, every day. It's going to be a long season, and I think minor league I'll feel more strong, and I think every year growing up, and I think the people I have around me, they'll help me a lot, and I think it's time for start to win.
I could take some tips from Martin on that focused part of his game. I'll do better later on. But Martin Perez on the hill for the first time in 2016, fellas.
Yeah, if you're still working into it, it's just the second game now.
This is true.
Okay.
This is true.
Yeah, all right. Well, Martin out there, and Tom's going to tell you about the Mariner lineup that he will face tonight.
They'll start off with Nori Aoki, the left fielder. Ketel Marte bats second. Robinson Cano is the third place hitter, followed by the DH Nelson Cruz. Kyle Seager is batting fifth. Franklin Gutierrez gets the start in right field tonight. The catcher Chris Iannetta moves up to seventh in the order. Dae-Ho Lee will start at first base, and Leonis Martin is the center fielder.
And Martin Perez looking to celebrate his birthday a day late. He turned 25 yesterday. And you remember a couple of years ago, he was really off to a flying start. Tommy John surgery kind of got in the way. He's a .500 pitcher overall in his career against the Mariners, but he sure had a great blueprint to follow from what Cole Hamels was able to do yesterday. The 2 home runs notwithstanding, but Hamels in 7 innings allowed only 4 hits. And he had 8 strikeouts in that contest. So Martin, even though he is a little bit different pitcher, should have a pretty good idea of how a left-hander can go about working to the Mariners. Here's Nori Aoki, and we are underway. And Martin pumps in strike 1. Aoki took it 0 for 4 yesterday. There were a lot of those sprinkled throughout both lineups. As a matter of fact, it was a day to pitch in this ballpark. Aoki, a painful foul ball off his front leg, and the count moves to 0-2. The Rangers had a sum total of 1 hit, and that 1 hit a run-producing soft single off the bat of Prince Fielder. Well-timed, I guess you could say. The Ranger timing was to get everything that they had going offensively, put it into 1 inning, and hope for the best, and they did. They scored 3 off Felix Hernandez with the help of 3 walks and 2 errors in the 5th inning, and that was enough. Cole made that stand up. Cole and his defense, as we talked about a little bit earlier. 3-hopper backhanded by Odor. That is out number 1.
Hey, Buzz, the game yesterday had a little bit of the feel that the last game in Toronto had, only this time it went the Rangers' way.
It sure did. Well, let's take a look at the rest of the Ranger defense. It's delivered to you tonight by DeMontron RV. Same lineup that Jeff Bannister put out there yesterday in the opening game. Desmond, DeShields, and Chu, left, center, and right. Moreland, Odor on the right side. Andrus and Beltre on the left side of the infield. Chirinos is catching Martin Perez, the 25-year-old Venezuelan. And the first pitch to Ketel Marte is ball 1.
Yeah, that's a pitch that, as the game goes on, you're Martin Perez, that needs to be called a strike, because that's exactly where he's trying to throw it. Make it sink right at the knees.
2-0.
Yeah. Both of those pitches were very close. Could have gone either way.
There's 2/5 of the Ranger rotation right there. Derek Holland in the foreground, and of course Cole Hamels right behind it. 2-0 pitch, and Marte pops it up. Angling out, Rougned Odor, 2 gone. Got a little help from Marte, it looked like that time. Got a little over-anxious, the young shortstop, and popped up a 2-0 pitch that wasn't really a very good pitch to hit.
Yeah, and pretty good velocity by Martin on that fastball as well, 93 miles an hour. And Martin's game is make the ball sink, keep the ball down. He's got a good changeup. Breaking pitches are good to go along with it. And every time we hear Martin talk, he talks about his concentration, maintaining the right disposition on a inning by inning basis, and so far so good today.
And a first pitch, a soft fly ball to Shin-Soo Choo, and Martin Perez has a 1-2-3 first. Mariners gone, Rangers coming up in the bottom of inning number 1, scoreless in Arlington. In the top of the first, now Tom's going to tell you about the Southwest Airlines Texas Rangers batting order.
Well, it's going to look just like yesterday's, with Delano DeShields leading off, Shin-Soo Choo second, Prince Fielder's third, Adrian Beltre at third base is fourth, Mitch Moreland is the first baseman, Ian Desmond will bat sixth in left field, Rougned Odor is at second base, Elvis is at shortstop, and batting ninth is the catcher, Robinson Chirinos.
And that lineup facing the 34-year-old, soon to be 35, right-hander Hisashi Iwakuma. Iwakuma has been tough on the Rangers. He's 6-0 in his last 7 starts against Texas. He's back to 100% health this year. He was out a good part of last year with a strained lat muscle. Almost signed a free agent contract with the Dodgers in the offseason. Dodgers didn't like something they'd seen on the medical report behind second base, and Marte throws out Delano DeShields, one gone. Take a look at the Mariners defense, and I'll finish that story here in just a second. Outfield for the Mariners, Aoki is in left field. Leonis Martin in center, and Franklin Gutierrez gets a start out in right field tonight. Dae-Ho Lee, his major league debut as a starter at first base. Cano and Marte up the middle, Seager at third, Iannetta back behind the plate. But if you remember in the offseason, Iwakuma had a deal worked out with the Dodgers. Did not pass their physical. They saw something from the physical results that made them a little bit suspicious. They wanted to rework what originally was a 3-year deal. Iwakuma and his agent wouldn't go for it, so he was back on the market, and the Mariners snagged him up very quickly. Gave him basically a 3-year deal. It was a 1-year thing with 2 add-ons, assuming he maintains health. And he hits Shin-Soo Choo with a pitch. A man on first and 1 out for Prince Fielder.
This ball really gets away from Iwakuma, who's a control pitcher. Yeah, Iwakuma, I think, surprised the Mariners by being available like he was. They had some very good fortune around the holidays when they were able to re-sign him. And they got, as you said, Buzz, the same deal with less risk. He has to pitch and stay healthy to earn the 3-year contract.
1 ball to Prince Fielder.
Dodgers had offered him $45 million for 3 years.
And they were still willing to offer him a 1-year contract for whatever it was, $15 million or whatever the per year basis would have been, but cut down the length of time.
Yeah, I'm sure they would have given him the same contract that Seattle ended up giving him. But I guess if you're Iwakuma, chances are he likes it in Seattle. Why go to a new team in a new league if you're going to get the same deal for the team you like?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming he's happy to be back in Seattle. I know the Mariners are happy to have him back. From a Ranger perspective, they would like to have seen him go to the Dodgers so they don't have to face him 5 or 6 times this year.
Exactly. 2-0 the count to Fielder. Now 2-1. Well, the Mariners, in the meantime, while Iwakuma was talking with the Dodgers and working a deal out down there, went out and signed Wade Miley. They got him in the fold, and assuming that Iwakuma would not be back, and now all of a sudden it's almost an embarrassment of riches for what they had in mind. They were able to get both of them. 2-1 to Fielder, who has the only Ranger hit of the 2016 season. 3-1.
Iwakuma is exceptionally tough to run on. He does not give the runner at first base much time to get a head start. He gets rid of the ball quickly. Well, if you're the catcher, Chris Iannetta, who's, as you mentioned yesterday, Buzz, has seen the Rangers run quite a bit. He's glad to see Iwakuma on the mound.
Yeah.
Last year, base stealers were 1 for 3. They only attempted 3 stolen bases against him last year.
And ball 4 puts 2 men aboard for Adrian Beltre.
Well, he's being very careful with Prince.
Kind of like the Ranger first inning yesterday. Delino DeShields was hit by a pitch. And there was a 2-out walk to Beltre that put 2 men aboard, but Rangers not able to do anything with that. We'll see if they can here this evening.
Well, Beltre's had good success against Iwakuma. Not many guys in the Ranger lineup have had a lot of success, but Adrian has a few home runs against him.
Yeah, for Beltre, 3 home runs in his 36 at-bats against Iwakuma. You can see a .306 average coming into play here tonight. Also 5 runs driven in. Pretty good breaking ball from Iwakuma. Beltre not joking with Marvin Hudson, the home plate umpire, but smiling as he said, that wasn't a very good call. No, I can't read his lips.
Well, Adrian does argue in a way that doesn't upset umpires.
Nothing in 2 as Iwakuma doing some painting on the outside corner. I guess there's an art to that, isn't there?
I think so.
Yeah.
You know, there's different trains of thought. Some managers, some players feel like you have to get in an umpire's face and let him have it to earn his respect and show him that you'll stick up for what you think is right. The other train of thought is toss him a little bit of sugar, and in the long run, you'll get more calls that way.
Beltre pops this up around home plate. Iannetta makes the call. The infield fly rules in effect since that ball came back into fair territory. So there's out number 2, and now it'll be up to Mitch Moreland. Numbers last year for Mitch, career highs in both home runs and RBI, a .330 on base percentage. He has not fared very well against Iwakuma, and that pretty much is in line with what other Rangers have done against him. As Tom told you, only really 3 Ranger hitters that have had any degree of success against the right-hander. Now Iannetta going to go out and talk to Iwakuma. Beautiful evening out here at Globe Life Park. Very nice setting for baseball. Good seats down there. That's our RF camera that roams around the ballpark, gives you ideas of what it looks like, the different vantage points.
Oh, we were talking about the umpires and balls and strikes, and the umpires are so good. They're not going to call a ball a strike and a strike a ball, but there are a lot of borderline pitches that can go either way. And I think a hitter's goal and a pitcher's goal is to get more of them to go their way, one way or the other. You don't want a pitch that's outside called a strike and vice versa. But pitches like that can go either way. If you're the hitter, you want that to be a ball. If you're a pitcher, you want it to be a strike. So how do you go about it to get more calls in your favor? my philosophy always was be as nice as you can to the umpires, and over time, human nature being what it is, they might just trend your way.
Sure.
But other people, I think, look at it the exact opposite. And obviously an umpire is going to say it doesn't make any difference what you do. I've got a job to do. I'm going to call them the way I see them. But they are human. And over the course of time, I don't know that everybody gets them called 50-50. There are some guys that they don't seem to go their way quite as often.
A ball and a strike to Moreland. Yeah, Mitch waited nicely on that breaking ball that stayed up a bit, but
I think it was almost more important, Buzz, way back when we played and before they had any type of a camera that would show the strike zone and where the pitch was, that you didn't want to get on an umpire's bad side back then.
Yeah.
Because there were times where an umpire might say to you, yeah, well, if you thought that was bad, you better be swinging at the next one. Or, they could call a pitch if they wanted to, and I'm not saying they did a lot, but 6 inches outside a strike, there's nothing you could do about it, and no one ever saw the replay.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. They didn't do it a lot from what I can remember, but all they had to do is one time.
Yeah, you got the message.
Not only would the hitter get the message, the guys on the bench would get the message too.
And, it was an accepted part of the game. The players understood it, and managers understood it.
Jew out there at second.
Some umpires had their own strike zones that were bigger or smaller than others. Now it kind of gravitates toward all umpires are going to have the same kind of strike zone, because there's our Fox tracks, there's the strike zone, and there's where the ball is, and that's how the umpires are calling them now. But back then, was it Eric Gregg that had that game against Livan Hernandez in the playoffs where those pitches were 6 to 8 inches outside? He struck out 14 or 15 guys, and you can't do that now with the Fox tracks. And shouldn't have been able to do it back then.
A full count with 2 outs. Runners will be in motion. And Mitch pops it up. Shallow left field. Backing out is Seager. And Kyle Seager makes the catch. That will do it. Rangers get a hit, batter, and a walk. But strand 2. We've finished 1 on this Tuesday night in Arlington. No score. Only T-Mobile customers can get a free season-long subscription to MLB.TV Premium. All you have to do is go to T-Mobile.com/MLB to sign up now and catch every moment of America's fastest-growing LTE network. Scoreless ball game as we head to the top of the second inning. Middle third of the Mariner order. Nelson Cruz starts things off, and Martin Perez pumping that fastball in there for strike one. Nelly a walk and 4 trips to the plate, 0 for 3 yesterday. Had a great year last year, second in baseball with those 44 home runs, a new personal best for Cruz. Finds himself very quickly though down in the count, no balls, 2 strikes. And that just did graze the left arm of Nelson Cruz. So the 0-2 pitch that Martin Perez was trying to get in the same spot that he did the first 2 pitches and missed just ever so slightly, but enough to put Cruz aboard.
Yeah, and this is one. He's trying to throw the ball high. It cuts inside a little bit. So Martin talks about his concentration, his composure, his focus. This is a place where it'll be tested because he's ahead 0-2. He's pumping strike after strike, 0-2, trying to set the hitter up. And now you've got the leadoff hitter on. So this is where he has to go into that concentration mode. And first pitch is a nice slider to Seager.
And Martin Perez knows better than anybody else in the ballpark that Kyle Seager has worn him out. Seager's hit .500 against him, 10 for 20 with 3 home runs and 5 RBI. Plus Seager, well, can't feel any more at home than he does here at Globe Life Park. He has just gone crazy here. He's a .350 career hitter, .351 to be exact.
After the home run yesterday, Cole threw him down and away. A lot of breaking balls, curveball, sliders, and had really good success against Seager. Seager ended up after the home run going 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts, and early in the count, that's what Martin has tried to do, keep the breaking ball down and away.
And that one a little bit too low, and it's 2-1. Well, Seager, as we mentioned, very tough against left-handed hitters. He's the best, or I should say left-handed pitching. Seager is the best left-handed hitter average-wise and home run-wise the last couple of years against left-handed pitching. He has 14 home runs, which is 4 more than any other left-handed batter in the major leagues in the last couple of years. And he's ahead of the count here, 3-1.
Yeah, this is where he has to be careful. Nobody out. You don't want 2 men on and nobody out. So you need to throw a strike, but at the same time, he's very aware of the statistic you just mentioned, Buzz, which is the 10 for 20. Need to throw a quality strike.
And he misses low and outside. 2 on, nobody out. Gutierrez coming up. And as Gutierrez makes his way to the plate, let's welcome in Jim Knox. Knoxy?
Oh, I appreciate it, Buzz. Real quick, want to welcome the Maddox family here from Atlanta, Georgia. 8 strong. Tom, how did you become Ranger fans from Atlanta?
I grew up with Rusty Greer in Alabama, so I've been following the Rangers since the mid-'90s when he played, and kids are on spring break, want to bring them out and experience some Ranger baseball.
There we go. Good to have you out here. Rusty, no, you're here.
Hey, Rusty, how you doing?
I guess he does now. All right, appreciate it, Tom. You guys enjoy the game. All right, Buzz?
All right, Knoxy, thank you. Franklin Gutierrez getting the start in right field tonight. Was the DH in yesterday's ball game. He and Nelson Cruz exchanging spots. And that first pitch fouled away. And well, Gutierrez, you wonder what a first ball fastball hitter looks like. He's right in your picture right there. Franklin Gutierrez. He sees a fastball in that first pitch. If it's anywhere near the strike zone, he is going to have a hack at it. He's done pretty well over his career when he's been healthy too, doing that.
Yeah, per at bat last year was probably his best year. 170 at bats. He hit 15 home runs and hit .290.
Little calling card out there for Nelly Cruz. Yeah, he had only 11 at bats per home run, and he was second only in that category to Giancarlo Stanton, big slugger from the Miami Marlins. Perez readies for the 0-1 pitch. Close, but not quite.
Obviously, the Mariners have seen Martin a lot. They have scouting reports, and I'm sure in their pregame scouting report, when they talked about Martin, they said he likes to keep his sinker down. Your job as a hitter is to make him get it up. Don't do him any favors by swinging at the pitches that are slightly out of the strike zone.
And ball 2 down and in.
So this would be a test for him, Buzz. Yep. You were talking about the composure type thing, and it was 3 up, 3 down, 2 quick strikes on Cruz. Ball that just barely nicked him for a man on base, nobody out. Then a walk, and now behind in the count 2-1. So see if Martin can regroup. All he's got to do is throw that sinker and get a ground ball, double play, right back where you want to be.
A check of the runners. 2-2. Yeah, you saw the kind of show of disgust after the 2-1 pitch was called a ball. And that's the one thing you watch for from Martin Perez. I know that's what Jeff Bannister and Doug Brocail are watching for, his body language. It's not that his mechanics of throwing the baseball change all that much, but his body language, his tempo, how quickly he works, and just the look on his face sometimes will give that away. That's tapped foul. We'll come back and try it again. So they'll keep a close eye on that, and you'll see Doug Brocail, if not Jeff Bannister, head out there when they detect something they don't want to see from Martin Perez. Tony Beasley there on your right. Good to see Tony out at the ballpark again. Steve Buechele flanking Doug Brocail. A little bit low. 3-2 now. Looks like the changeup that is such a great weapon for Martin Perez. Now 2 on and nobody out. A full count to Gutierrez, who's hitting 6th in the order. Chris Iannetta, the catcher, will follow. And that's a foul ball. We will reset and try it again. Runners, by the way, were not moving on that 3-2 pitch. Gutierrez had a reasonably good spring. He had 4 home runs down there, which in 14 ball games, pretty prolific. He had picked up right where he left off last year. He's hitting with Cruz at second, Seager at first, and nobody out here in the 2nd inning. Still 3-2. And Robinson Chirinos going to go out and say something to the Martin. You saw again after that pitch was fouled back. Martin kind of turned his head in a little bit of disgust with either the location or that he didn't get the strike that he wanted. It was fouled off by Gutierrez. Now the left-hander's ready. Got him swinging. Good changeup to get the punch out.
That's a nice comeback right there. He was behind in the count. Ran the count full. Made a couple of good pitches. Got foul balls. And then comes back and throws him a changeup for a strike. Couldn't lay off that one because that was a strike. Quality pitch in a real tough situation.
Doug Brocail out to the mound very quickly. He wants to talk to have Ruben Odor come in and talk to Chirinos and to Martin Perez. Make sure all the information is received by the important people. That was the timer for any visits to the mound, either by a pitching coach or a manager this year. It has to be completed within 30 seconds. And Doug Brocail was talking spring training. They were using it in spring training so their pitching coach get used to it. He said, I'm going to have to get in shape to do these things. Here's Iannetta, who had a couple of walks yesterday and was 2 for 2. And he is 3 for 3 as he shoots one to center. Cruz being waved around third. Here comes the throw to the plate. It is not in time. And Iwakuma, with his 3rd hit of the season, puts the Mariners on top, 1-0.
Yeah, yesterday he rolled a couple of ground balls through the infield. He was 2 for 2 with a walk. That's a solid line drive single to center field. That's for a guy who last year with the Angels hit 188.
The fastball, yeah, it was down, but had a lot of the plate. Iwakuma. A lot of times you'll see a veteran hitter after a pitching coach makes a visit to the mound say, okay, well, he's going to groove that first pitch or get ahead with that first pitch in this at bat, and they'll go ahead and wail at it. And that's exactly what Iwakuma did. So the Mariners with a quick 1-0 lead. Here is Dae-Ho Lee.
Dae-Ho Lee would have been a bad guy to start with a first pitch fastball. This guy he pinch hit yesterday and had some big swings. Cole ended up striking him out by going to the off-speed pitches and the changeups. But in his time in Japan and South Korea, he had a lot of home runs, drove in a lot of runs. That was a wise choice not to throw him a fastball on the first pitch.
Another pickoff attempt at second. This time Seager able to get back there with a dive. Martin Perez very, very good at that move to second base. He has very quick feet. Gets his body in position to throw to second very quickly and gets rid of the ball. Good quick arm action. Seager establishing his lead out there at second. Odor, Andrus, Moreland, 4-6-3, and that takes care of the Mariners. Iwakuma's base hit, however, gets the Mariners on the board. A run on 1 hit and 1 man left. After an inning and a half, it's the Mariners 1, the Rangers 0. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today for incredible deals and see why Ford is the best in Texas. The Rangers, as they did yesterday, find themselves trailing by a run here in the early going as Ian Desmond fouls off the first pitch. It'll be Desmond, Odor, and Andrus facing Iwakuma here in the Rangers second. Ian 0 for 4 in his Ranger debut yesterday. No balls, 2 strikes. Ian doing a little self-teach. Okay, get the hands going through there and extend that bat head right through the ball. Hit it hard, run like crazy. Seager, 1 out.
Batting seventh, the second baseman, number 12.
No, Desmond retired on the little topper. Now Rougned Odor.
Yeah, the Seattle pitching has been pretty tough. Rangers still looking for their first hard-hit ball. Yesterday, there was a couple of ground balls that were probably solidly hit outs. Maybe a ball to the outfield that was hit okay, but as far as like teeing off on one and having the ball jump off the bat, they're still waiting for one of those.
Yeah. I'm not sure you could find two tougher right-handers to face in the first 2 games of the season than Felix Hernandez and Hisashi Iwakuma.
It's all about the pitching they're seeing. It's not about them as hitters, because these kind of pitchers can do it to anybody. Iwakuma threw a no-hitter last year against Baltimore, so you know he's tough to hit.
Ball hit well to right center field. Leonis Martin back right at the edge of the warning track. Now there's a reasonably hard hit ball.
Looked like he hit it good. Maybe not his best shot, but pretty well hit. Iwakuma, since he's been in Seattle, 47 and 25 with a 3.17 ERA. Well, he's been a terrific pitcher. Well, for some guys, that might be as far as they could get one, but not Rougned.
No.
I think if he got all of that ball, he wouldn't have stayed in the ballpark.
Yeah, we've seen Odor hit some monster shots. He gets up there in the big boy territory real fast.
Yeah, he does.
Here's Elvis, an 0 for 2 yesterday with a walk, taking all the way for strike 1. Elvis turned one of those walks into a run scored. No, that was when he reached on an error. I take it back. He had that 5th inning error that got him aboard. He came around to score the tying run in that ballgame. Take a look at our Kubota power stats tonight, talking about Hisashi Iwakuma and the no-hitter. Kubota tells you that that no-hitter last August the 12th against Baltimore. It was in Safeco. Elvis is going to loop one to left field. Took a hitting lesson from Prince Fielder. Both hits have been almost carbon copies as far as how far they traveled, and they are effective, however.
Batting ninth and catcher, number 61, Robinson Chirinos.
That's a pretty good pitch, really. Looked like a slider down and away. Looked like Iannetta was going down to block the ball. It was going to bounce in front of him. That's how low it was and headed downward. Just snuck it in for a base hit.
Yeah, Iwakuma, along with the fastball and good slider, he'll throw that split-fingered pitch too that he can make work both ways. Make that thing look like a kind of a slower slider and also almost like a screwball. He's a handful when he gets things going. Robinson Chirinos took an 0 for 3 yesterday. Robinson finished up spring training by hitting .346 in his last 9 ball games. He had it going pretty well. Chirinos getting the start in these first 2 games. Brian Holiday, newest Ranger, picked up by the Rangers right at the tail end of spring training. Figures to get the start tomorrow afternoon. On the move is Andrus. The throw to second. They got it. Well, you mentioned, Tom, that Iwakuma tough to run on. He gave Iannetta a chance, and Iannetta shot down Elvis. No runs a hit, nobody left. After 2, 1-0 Seattle on Fox Sports Southwest. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackouts and other restrictions apply. Just visit MLB.TV for details. Now we go to the top of the 3rd inning. Leonis Martin, former Ranger, starting things off facing Martin Perez. Pitch a little bit low. And joining us in the booth, happy to have the president, general manager of the Texas Rangers, John Daniels, with us. Hi, John. How you doing?
Buzz, Tom, how are you guys?
Doing good.
Have you caught your breath after spring training and after opening day?
Catching my breath running up the stairs. I was afraid John Blake would be upset with me. I ran up.
Yeah, you don't want John to get mad at you.
No, that wrong person. Hey, by the way, I want to congratulate you, Tom. I haven't seen you in person, but on yesterday, but on 50
pitch?
years in the game. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say how good my arm
pitch
looked.
in particular. I thought it was having you and Bobby out there was awesome.
Thank you.
Very, very cool moment for the organization.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
A walk to Martin to start off the 3rd inning. I wouldn't think there are too many organizations around that can say they have 2 guys that formerly played for them who are still in the organization 50 years later.
I wonder how many can say one.
Yeah.
You know, 2 guys and still very much involved. So
Well, I can definitely tell you this. When Bobby and I played in Geneva, New York, if you were to tell us that 50 years later we would be in the same organization throwing out the first pitch in a big league game, you would really have had to have a crystal ball, that's for sure.
I joke with Bobby that he needs to come on and do some on-air. So he's got in-game responsibilities, so he can't. But he said, hey, it'd be great to tell some stories. He said, I don't think I could tell many of them on TV.
Well, he could start out with good intention. But if you got a little worked up, we might have to press the beeper.
And he's got a lot of them, too.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's something.
A tremendous person.
Yeah, John, before we ask you about the Rangers, you had the rare opportunity the other day to watch your son play a little baseball, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, with spring training, I missed first 2 games. And I take no credit for it. I was sitting in the stands, but I saw the first W of the year. First W of the year, yeah. So.
Are you the kind of parent that's going to be vocal in your support, or are you quiet?
I mean, on a positive note, I try to, not just Lincoln, but the other kids, say some positive things, It's kid pitch, and so that the early stages of kid pitch, basically the team that wins, the guy that can throw it over the plate. More often than not, you're going to win.
Just hope no one gets hit.
I mean, once somebody gets on first base, they steal second, they steal third the next 2 pitches, and you're hoping when it gets away from the catcher, it doesn't get too far, so it doesn't scamper home. But that was cool. Got to see them win, and he played well. He played first base for the first time and liked it, so it was kind of fun.
Good.
Is that one of those deals where they're moving the kids around to give them an experience at every position?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
So he's played most of them to this point.
That's great. Well, the ball club, we won't even talk about yesterday and how that all came to fruition, but you've got to be pretty happy about how the ball club came out of spring training, adding Brian Holiday, certainly a big pickup for you. But the way the club is right now compared to this time last year, you've got to feel pretty good about things.
Yeah, I do. Sorry.
Feels a lot better right now after that ball hook foul.
Well, I thought I got hit well off the bat, and then I was looking at Chu. And I thought, well, maybe I misread it, but he obviously lost it there. Feel really good about it, Buzz. There you see the shot. But feel really good about the club. Biggest thing, we got out of spring, knock on wood, healthy.
Right.
A little bit of a change from the previous couple of years, and obviously things can happen. An injury is going to pop up here or there, but feel good about our depth, especially on the position player side, the bullpen as well. Thought the coaching staff did a tremendous job getting the guys ready. It was a ton of work went into it, but you didn't really notice it because it was such an upbeat, fun, kind of lively camp. And then to add Holiday at the end, we feel like a solid, a little bit under the radar type pickup, but hear wonderful things about him as a teammate. Very good defensive catcher, and should fit in well.
Well, you talk about how things shape up, pitching and defense. Tom and I talked about this on our open tonight. You saw it yesterday. Cole Hamels 7 strong innings. Bullpen, and only 2 of the 6 guys that are down there at the tail end of the bullpen had to throw, but boy, they did a great job with Diekman and Tollison shutting the game down.
Yeah, Tolly found an extra gear there in the 9th, and he was outstanding. And hard to, after Diekman, hard to look good after the way he threw it. But Tolly really, I thought, threw as well as we've seen him, maybe at all. He was outstanding. I thought the defense was really good too. You have with Cole, with Martin, we're going to get a lot of ground balls at some of these guys, and that's where the infield defense in particular is really critical for us. And those guys made some big plays yesterday.
Yeah, we talked about in our pregame show. We talked about the back end of the bullpen, and Tony Barnett, of course, we haven't seen yet, but he's still waiting to make his major league debut. He has a lot of experience over in Japan. And the other guys, for the most part, have had success at one time or another. There's a closer, Keone Kela, maybe the exception at the big league level. But you're talking about some power arms and some guys that really know how to shut games down.
That's our hope. I think every bullpen has 1 or 2 guys to go too late. The really good teams have 3 or 4. We're hoping to be able to provide Manny with some real depth and options there. The way that I think we're going to use our bullpen, hopefully we're winning a lot of games and in a lot of games, and you're going to want to use the winning pieces a lot, and this should a number of guys kind of spread the workload around. But Tony Barnett, you mentioned, Steve, a guy that we scouted quite a bit. One of our Japanese scouts, Haji, was kind of the first one to really identify that he thought he had taken a step. Joe Furukawa over there as well, and then Josh Boyd and Scott Littlefield went over and really liked him, and he's come over as advertised. Ton of strikes, can split the plate, can really he can manipulate the baseball a lot, and he has that kind of back end mentality. I think that's going to be one of the unique challenges for these guys. They all have that back end mentality, and can they apply it in the 6th inning? Can they apply it in the 7th inning? When maybe the natural adrenaline rush isn't quite the same.
Buzz, you go back far enough, but there's plenty of years in Ranger baseball past where all 6 of those guys would have been the closer.
Yeah. You're right about that. Odor with the better angle on it, so he calls off Moreland. That's out number 2. Good job by Odor. We're talking about defense. Rougned Odor made a couple of great plays yesterday, really game changers in the double plays that he started. And
the 9th inning, feeding Tolly there.
Yep.
I know a lot's been written about him. A lot of people, writers and folks around the game have identified him as a guy, maybe a breakout type candidate, but it's justified. He's had a tremendous camp, and even his first couple games here. The confidence he's got, the way he's going about it, gotta love that.
You could probably speak to his mentality better than we can. You were around it more, but when he went down to AAA last year, when he was sent out after such a disastrous start, a lot of guys would have gone down there and said, I'm feeling sorry for themselves. Yep. And very good and well what he was like, the mentality of I'm better than this that he took down there.
Yeah, we sat down after the game. I want to say it was either a Monday or Tuesday night, and told him the decision. We're going to send him down and kind of walk through it and the thought process. And he immediately got. He knew. He said, I haven't been myself, and I've got to get back to that. So they're going to be ready for you, and go down. You put the work in. We're going to look to get you back up. If it was a Monday night, by Tuesday noon, he was on the field in round one. He was the first guy on the field. And they said he kept that every single day. And to his credit, then he had a little success, and he's kept it every day. Last year, the off season, he was probably our best player in the series against Toronto.
Yeah.
It was a wake up call for him. I think he realized he needed to change some things, and to his credit, he has.
Yeah, guys get wake up calls sometime and forget to answer the phone. That's not the case with Ruge.
And he's from a baseball family. He's grown up around the game. And, he's one of these guys that when the coaches get on him, he's able to apply it.
Nice block by Robinson Chirinos. Well, after the leadoff walk, Martin Perez has done a pretty good job of getting a couple of pop-outs, or a pop-out, I should say, and a strikeout. And this is a good test. He had a test last inning and gathered himself together, limited the damage. needing to do the same thing here. And that's kind of what you're looking for Martin Perez for, isn't it? The progress, the consistent progress.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, he's been good, but we think there's another level for him to get to, and it's just what you're saying. It's that level of consistency. I think he stays healthy and kind of from a mental standpoint is able to slow things down and do the same thing every time out, like right here, stepping back, catching his breath, and hopefully make a quality pitch. He's got good stuff. He's going to get a ton of ground balls. It's more the little things, the consistency that you're talking about that I think could take him to another level.
And because of a couple of years of injury, Derek Holland kind of in the same spot. You'd like to see the consistency you've seen flashes of, but you'd like to see that from him too.
No doubt. I mean, listen, there's a range of performance from anybody, but if those two guys do what they're capable of, go a long way for us.
John, appreciate your stopping by. Great stuff, and we'll look to talk to you or one of your front office guys every Tuesday home game that we have this year.
That's awesome. Yeah,
thanks
for having us on.
Okay, John.
Appreciate you coming up.
Congrats again, Tom.
Thank you. Bottom of the third coming up. 1-0 Seattle. April 16th, Baltimore Orioles are in town. It's the first home weekend series of the season. The first 15,000 fans, 14 and older, will get a Texas Rangers pullover jacket. That's courtesy of Globe Life. Get your tickets at texasrangers.com. Now, Martin Perez able to work around a leadoff walk to Leonys Martin in that third inning. We'll see if the Rangers can do something, and there's going to be an extra base hit as Robinson Chirinos pulls one right down the line. And Chirinos with the first extra base hit for the Rangers this year, just their third safety, but he's in scoring position with nobody out.
That ball just barely stayed fair. It looked like a hanging slider. Robinson is a little bit out in front of it, hit it toward the end of the bat, but he just, look at that, right over the, what a shot, right over the corner of the bag. Definitely fair. Good call by Jim Joyce. Goes into the corner, and Rangers have the leadoff man at second now.
Well, Chirinos out at second base now. Nobody out. Here's back to the top of the order now for Delino DeShields. Corners for the Mariners creeping in, and time called. Home plate umpire Marvin Hudson coming out from behind the catcher and calling time. Iwakuma didn't look real thrilled with Marvin Hudson about that late call.
You always say, Buzz, if you're the pitcher, just let the ball go, right? Don't try to stop like that.
And if you think it's the umpire's fault, throw it at him. See if he can, see if he can keep it on the run. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, if you, maybe not in that instance, he wasn't really into his motion full bore. Yeah. But if you're anywhere close, if there's any doubt in your mind whether you can stop, don't try. Go ahead and let it go. Otherwise, you run the risk of hurting yourself. And as long as you're at it, you might as well try to throw one in the press box. I mean, as long as time's been called. Air it out.
Yeah, there's been a few thrown up there by mistake. I remember Lenny Barker's in Boston.
Yeah, that's right. 1-0 pitch. And Delino takes low. 2 balls, no strike. Remember, we had a relief pitcher in Kansas City named Doug Bird. He had a lot of saves a couple of years ago. Whitey Herzog got on him a few times about giving up 2 strike base hits. And we were out in Anaheim, and Birdie was kind of flighty anyway, no pun intended. But Whitey got on him for one game, and he came in the next night and got the first hitter 0-2 and threw one in the press box. I mean, he just let it go.
Well, I guess nobody on base. All it is ball one, and he wasn't going to hit it.
Well, he didn't get a chance to throw another pitch. Whitey came out and took him out.
Didn't like it, huh?
No. He didn't like being shown up like that. 2 balls and a strike to Delino to Shields.
That Bird had a good slider, if I remember.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Chirinos, right at the bottom of your screen, gets his lead out at second. 3-1.
Good eye. 2-1 breaking ball. Just a little bit low. Delino didn't even act like he thought about swinging at that pitch. That's pretty good pitch recognition.
You know, Delino said after he drew a walk yesterday in that big 5th inning, said I was being stingy at the plate, the way he put it.
Well, that should be a major part of his game.
Yep.
Being stingy and getting on base.
It's going to be out of play. Gutierrez over to take a look, but it's several rows back, and the count is full.
One of those times, man on second, nobody out. Batter definitely trying to hit the ball to the right side. Love to be able to do it with 2 strikes, but have to be a little more selfish with 2 strikes. Do what you can to make some contact. You hit it the other way, great. Main thing is take it if it's a ball and put it in play if it's a strike.
Iannetta flashing the series of signs out. Iwakuma ready. Just getting a piece of it. Boy, that pitch boring its way in on Delino, and a pretty good job of fighting off a tough pitch. You'd like to say, well, I can take that anytime I want to, but 3-2, you don't want to get caught looking at the 3rd strike. That looked like that split finger pitch that Iwakuma throw.
That thing shot in.
Still 3-2 with nobody out. Call strike 3.
I don't know about that one.
The pitch tracker would agree with you, Tom. Delino to Shields caught looking for the first out.
Yeah, it would seem to suggest that it wasn't that close to the strike zone. Generally, when the catcher catches it and tries to bring it back toward the plate, that's a dead giveaway that it wasn't a strike.
Now that is the first strikeout recorded by Iwakuma, and it was a big one. The 1 gone now with Chirinos still at second. Here's Shin-Soo Choo. Choo originally with the Seattle Mariners, signed with them out of Korea and made his major league debut with them. Didn't really establish himself. Had problems hitting when he first got to the big leagues. Average down below 200. He was traded to Cleveland and really established himself over there. Choo hit by a pitch the first time that he faced Iwakuma. Going the other way, Seager gobbling that up. What a play by Kyle Seager. 2 gone.
Yeah, Choo trying to hit through the left side where he had a lot of room to hit. Unfortunately, the one guy that was right there was Seager, and he was able to catch it. You see all the real estate out there. And Choo was definitely trying to go that way. He hit the ball hard. Seager didn't have a lot of time to react to it, but he was able to do that. Actually a great job of hitting.
Yep.
Only one guy on the left side, and unfortunately Shin-Soo hit it right to him.
Well, they're now 2 outs. And Prince Fielder coming to the plate, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and pitch to him because you've got Adrian Beltre, who has hit pretty well against Iwakuma in the on-deck circle. Beltre with 3 home runs and 5 RBIs against Iwakuma. Prince Fielder tonight drew a walk back in the first inning, and I would be surprised if he saw much to hit, even though they ostensibly are going to pitch to him. Big defensive shift on for Fielder. And we've talked about it last year. I mean, we're in a run-scoring situation like this, a runner out at second base or a runner at third. Fielder loves to play pepper with where the shortstop would be. You give him a pitch out away from him, and he'll just slap one right about where Chirinos is right now. See if he can get that run home. The ball and a strike to it. You mentioned Prince given his award, the Comeback Player of the Year award is handed out by the Major League Players Alumni Association prior to the game. Center field, Leonis Martin is camped underneath it, and that'll do it. So Iwakuma able to work around a leadoff double. Rangers strand Chirinos after 3, 1-0 Seattle on Fox Sports Southwest.
By a score of 1-0 as we head to the top of the 4th, and many new items on the menu here at Globe Life Park in Arlington, including this one, the Flamin' Hot Cheetos Dogs, which is an all-beef hot dog topped with Flamin' Hot Cheetos infused nacho cheese and sprinkled with Flamin' Hot Cheetos. And look what I have. I have the Flamin' Hot Cheetos dog.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because you know what? I've lost all dignity and shame along the way of my career, and I've eaten many things on live television, and I'm going to continue with perhaps my crowning moment with the Flamin' Hot Cheetos dog.
What's the verdict? It's good?
A little messy.
Okay.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I don't see any smoke rising from your ears.
It's flaming.
Is it?
It's hot.
You starting to tear up a little
bit?
It's
hot. And that's really all I have to say. You can find it outside Section 22 and 2048 here at Globe Life Park in Arlington. And this will be, I'm sure, this will be, this is one of the highlights of my career. Without a doubt, fellas.
We expect to check back with you in about 5 minutes and see an empty plate.
I can tell you this is as far as it's going. I'm on a very strict diet.
Okay.
That I just broke for this, for you guys. I took
it was worth it.
I took one for the team. Back to y'all.
Appreciate that.
Okay.
That must have been hot. Look at that thing. Wow.
Yes. Note the flamin' Cheeto infused nacho cheese. It's not just ordinary nacho cheese, guys. They're not messing around.
That is some serious heat.
I'll send one up for you guys if you'd like to sample.
Cruz, deep left center field. It is gone. Nelson Cruz with his first home run of the year. And Seattle on top 2-0. The Mariners had 2 solo home runs yesterday. Cruz adds 1 more here tonight.
See where the pitch was. He tried to get it in. Got it in. I guess not quite far enough, though. Nelly was still able to handle it. But he tried to cut the fastball in. It was just barely on the corner of the plate. And so I guess on a pitch like that, just tip your hat to Nelly Cruz. He's hit 40 home runs the last couple of years. Knows what he's doing up there.
Yes, he does. He's had 84 home runs the last 2 years, and now 85 with that one tonight. Kyle Seager drew a walk his first time against Martin Perez. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Mariners had 4 hits yesterday. Half of those were solo home runs. The other half is Chris Iannetta with 2 base hits. Tonight, they have a grand total of 2 hits, 1 solo home run, and a Chris Iannetta RBI single. Two-one pitch from Perez. Hard hit, but pulled just foul down the first base side. We'll come back and try another 2-2 pitch. Now Martin Perez, again, with nobody out. Now this is where he has to gather himself and overcome that leadoff home run to Cruz. You mentioned, Tom, tipping your cap, and sometimes that's hard to do for a pitcher.
Yeah.
3-2. Now, it was the second inning that Martin Perez hit Nelson Cruz by a pitch and then walked Seager. Put 2 on with nobody out. The Iannetta 1-out single got the only run on the board at that time. Popped him up. Elvis behind Beltre. 1 away. Well, good job by Martin Perez. Now, before Franklin Gutierrez comes up, let's send it over to Dana Larson for a Chevy game break.
Right fielder Franklin Gutierrez.
Oh, wow.
What a great day in the Big Apple.
Boy, they were going to get that game in one way or the other. First one was frozen out. That one, a normal day, would have been frozen out. They just felt like, yes, they had to get it in.
You know,
it's tough playing when it's below 40, but when it's 30, that's really tough.
Well, we were talking about that, though. The way the schedule's set up now, you only go to the other cities one time, and you don't leave yourself much room in case there's 3 or 4 days of bad weather.
No.
And a big strikeout of Gutierrez, 2 gone. Astros and Yankees had to postpone opening day yesterday and move it to today, and I guess they figured, well, weather's not going to improve appreciably. We might as well play.
Good slider from Martin.
3rd strikeout, 2nd time he's gotten Gutierrez. Now Iannetta, who had the RBI single in the 2nd. The numbers from last year. Iannetta, the backstop for the Angels. 2 balls, no strikes. Iannetta originally came up with the Colorado Rockies. Spent the last 4 years out in Anaheim. And he takes low for ball 3. Iannetta hitting 7th in the order. He'll be followed by the first baseman, Dae-Ho Lee. He is still perfect. 2 walks, 3 base hits this year.
He wasn't giving in that time. He was to keep the ball down, and he kept it down, just a little bit too far down.
A second walk, make that the 3rd walk issued by Martin tonight. Here's Lee, who grounded into a double play, his first time to the plate. Dae-Ho Lee went to the same elementary school as Ranger right fielder Shin-Soo Choo. In fact, they remained pretty close friends. They're from Busan in South Korea. One ball, no strikes. Lee, the 20th South Korean-born player to make it to the major leagues, the 3rd with these Mariners. Two balls, no strikes.
6 straight pitches below the bottom of the strike zone. Have to get it up just a little bit.
Martin glancing over at the Ranger dugout. That's not something you want to see your pitcher do out there. You don't need to be looking in the dugout. You're not going to get any assistance. And if you're looking for the pitching coach or the skipper to come out, that's a problem. Center field retreating to his left. Delino DeShields handles it. So that'll do it. Nelson Cruz leads off with his first home run of the year. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th inning. It's Seattle 2, Texas nothing. The first 7,500 kids out here at Globe Life Park will be treated to a pair of Delino DeShields socks. That's courtesy of Powerade Zero. Bring the whole family and you can watch the Rangers take on the Orioles. That's the first Sunday afternoon matchup of the season. And visit TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS to get your tickets. Get those Delino DeShields socks. Those are good-looking socks. They have been washed. Those are not game-worn. I'm assured that Delino sent those out. Beltre, Moreland, and Desmond do lead off the Ranger fourth inning, trailing by 2 now to Hisashi Iwakuma. Beltre popped out to the catcher, Iannetta, his first time. 1 ball and 1 strike. Gotta be careful with a guy like Iwakuma on the mound. You can't let him get too far ahead because he knows how to shut down an opposition when he gets a lead to work with. Let's take a look at our Ford leaderboard. Talking about primarily third baseman in the annals of Major League Baseball, the home run totals. Mike Schmidt leads the parade, 548. Eddie Matthews, Chipper Jones. Darrell Evans next for Adrian Beltre, 1 home run ahead of Adrian's 413. Gutierrez gliding to his right. That is out number 1. Hey, one thing, the Mariners have 2 center fielders for sure out there, and Aoki can cover some pretty good ground too. Gutierrez at one time was one of the premier center fielders when he was with the Mariners before the injuries. And of course, Ranger fans know what kind of a center fielder Leonis Martin is. Nori Aoki has played center field. Not too many balls hit high in the air are going to fall in that outfield. Here's Moreland, who popped out to third. 1 strike to him. Mitch in his career against the Mariners, the 2nd most home runs and RBI of any team. He has 10 home runs and 35 RBI against Seattle. That trails only his output against the Oakland A's. 14 home runs, 36 RBI against Oakland. Down on the count here, though, no balls, 2 strikes. Again, the Mariners in an extreme overshift with Moreland. Got Seager, the third baseman, playing a normal shortstop spot, if not shaded up the middle where the shortstop would be. And you've got Marte and Cano and Lee all on the right side. That ball's hit well to right center field. That is up the alley. It's going to the wall. Martin gets the ball back in, cruising into second. Mitch Moreland, and that was a well-hit ball.
Yeah, there you go. That might open up the floodgates. That one was hit right off the sweet part of the bat on a line. He was looking for a base hit with men in scoring position now. Iwakuma kind of hung that curveball out over the plate. See the concentration in Mitch's eyes. And you can see right where the ball hit the bat, right off the sweet spot.
That's what you call barreling it up. Huh?
That was barreled up. Pitch was on the outside corner, but it was up enough to where Mitch was able to reach out and hit it hard.
So Moreland in scoring position now, and Ian Desmond at the plate. Goes away from the idea. Swinging at that first pitch, gets a fastball pretty much in the middle of the plate. Ian, a ground ball to third, tapped out to Kyle Seager. That was back in the 2nd inning. Rangers have now tripled their hit total from yesterday. They have 3. However, they were able to get a W yesterday on opening day with just that 1 base hit. Breaking ball, and that slices off the outside corner. Ian didn't think so, talking to Marvin Hudson momentarily about that. 0-2 now. Desmond, as we talked about, very much a slashing type hitter. He'll go foul pole to foul pole, line drive hitter with power. Two gone.
The second baseman,
maybe a little over anxious to impress his new teammates.
I think that's exactly what happened. Most of the other pitches have been right around the plate. It's almost like Ian said to himself, I've taken a couple of strikes. Got to hit it if it's close, and unfortunately that was one of the balls that Iwakuma threw that was well out of the strike zone.
Well, 2 away now. We'll see what Rougned Odor can do. Odor flied out to pretty deep center field his first time. He sent Leonys Martin right back to the edge of the warning track. Iwakuma misses with the breaking ball. 1-0. Well, a good look at the new lights, all LED lights here at Globe Life Park. They were put into the offseason, one of the many renovations that the Rangers have put in, along with the big new scoreboard, the message board out in left field above the office towers out there.
Yeah, our observation might be that the bright light is directed toward the field. You don't see it as much back here in the stands. And everybody in our truck says it's much better for television. The brightness really enhances the picture that you see at home on television.
I don't know much about it, but I've heard it's much whiter light instead of the kind of yellow cast that you get. I know Delano DeShields in his first at bat here at under the lights on last Friday night said, I got to make sure I don't tilt my cap up too much because the lights will get in my eyes too much. Ball 3. Odor, a patient at bat, not offering it anything out of the zone. He's ahead 3 balls, no strikes. Odor trying to reach to join Moreland. Elvis Andrus is in the on deck circle to be next. Might get a green light here for Rougned. Yep, taken all the way, and it's a strike right at the bottom of the zone. Odor, as we mentioned, coming into play tonight, a .455 hitter against Hisashi Iwakuma. 5 out of 11, now 5 out of 12. A home run and a couple driven in. He has Mitch Moreland out there at second. Rangers down by a couple. Chopper foul, that'll fill the count. Rougned Odor with kind of a menacing look out there, talking to himself a little bit, saying, how in the world can you throw me a 3-1 slow off-speed pitch?
Well, because they know that you can hit that fastball 420 feet and there's no one on first base, so I'm not taking any chances with you.
And Iwakuma knows very good and well that .455 average was not an accident. He just tattooed some balls. 3-2 with 2 outs. In the dirt, blocked by Ionetta, and that is ball 4. Moreland forced to stay at second. That puts 2 on with 2 outs, and Elvis coming up.
Yeah, I don't think that Iwakuma cared whether or not he walked Odor in that at bat. He just was not going to give him a good pitch to hit. He'll take his chances right now, and maybe Elvis will make him pay for it. A little line drive right down the right field line.
Well, Elvis singled his first time up tonight. That was back in the 2nd inning. Elvis has more home runs and RBI against Seattle than any other club. He has 5 home runs and he has driven in 48. I'd like to see him add to those totals right here. Moreland at second, Odor at first. First pitch breaking ball, and I think Elvis was looking fastball.
Yeah, a little over anxious.
Ranger hitters doing a lot of talking to themselves, and a guy like Iwakuma will make hitters do that. Trying to figure out what the crafty right-hander's doing and how to counteract it. 1-1. Odor had a huge secondary lead at first and saw Iannetta come up. He was ready to fire to first, but Lee was pointing well behind Odor, and I think Rugnet would be well advised not to take that quite that large a secondary lead this time. Lee just looked into the Mariners dugout and nodded his head, so could have said, hey, you might want to kind of shade toward the bag just in case. There's your line drive to right field, a base hit. Moreland coming around third. Gutierrez will throw into the cutoff man. An RBI single for Elvis Andrus. It's a 2-1 Mariner lead.
Well, a couple of things accomplished this inning. A well-hit line shot and a base hit with a man in scoring position. The walk, it wasn't an intentional walk, but it was close to it to Odor. They wanted a pitch to Elvis, and Elvis shot that line drive to right field to pick up a run. Fought off that fastball tailing up and in on him.
Well, he did just that too, inside out, and get the barrel of that bat back. And you shot that thing to right field. So 2 hits and a walk in the inning. The Rangers have gotten on the scoreboard. It is 2-1 Seattle, first and third. And Robinson Chirinos, who doubled right down the third baseline his first time up. He was trying to go that way again, but the bat wasn't quite strong enough for him to do that.
There's some people in the front row that are glad that screen was in front of them. That screen's always been there. That's what Gutierrez is looking at. Makes an ill-advised throw to third. Odor was already at third base. That's when you get lucky that that ball didn't short hop the infielder and roll away from him. Odor would have scored.
No, Rugnet at third. Everybody waiting for Robinson Chirinos to get a whole piece of lumber to take back up there with him. Nothing in one, the count. Robinson's double back in the third inning, his first hit in 4 official plate appearances. Hit hard through a base hit to left field. Odor scored. Chirinos 2 for 2, and now an RBI. We are back dead even at 2 apiece.
The Rangers were down 2-0 yesterday and used 3 walks and a couple of errors and a blooper. They benefited from a walk, but it's been the base hits this inning. Hard line drive double by Mitch. Elvis a line drive to right, and Robinson his second hit. A well hit hard ground ball into left field ties the ball game. Ball tailing on the inside corner, and Robinson put a good swing on it.
Well, yesterday for the Rangers in that 5th inning, it was the bottom of the order that got things going. Had a walk to Odor, the ground ball that turned into an error by Andrus. They both scored. And here tonight, it's been the bottom of the order, getting the runs produced. Mitch Moreland with a 1-out double, but then Odor walked. The 2-out single by Andrus drove in a run. A 2-out single by Chirinos plates the tying run. And it takes the Rangers back to the top of the order for Delino DeShields. Delino has grounded out and been called out on strike. Had a pitch away to work with, but tipped it right off the end of the bat. Yeah, we'll take a look at our Coors Light cold hard fact for you about Delino DeShields. Played in 121 games last year. It's the 3rd most among all players selected in the December 2014 Rule 5 draft. Double Herrera, 147 with Pittsburgh, and then Mark Canha played 124 with Oakland. We'll lay off that low breaking ball. 1-1 to DeShields. Remember last time DeShields, as he put it, was being pretty stingy at the plate. Got the count to 3-2. Then they got locked up on a pitch that was called 3rd strike. Andrus at second. He is trailed by Robinson Chirinos over at first. 2 runs across. A 2-2 ball game.
Well, you can't argue with the strategy to pitch carefully to Rougned Odor with first base open and a man on second. It just hasn't worked out very well because the next 2 right-hand hitters both delivered RBI singles, Elvis and Robinson. And make it 3 RBI hits in a row.
You know, sometimes, even though it's the right strategy, if a pitcher gets away from being aggressive toward hitters, sometimes he's not able to pick that back up very quickly. Close play at second. Elvis just back in under the tag by Cano. You know, it's kind of like, to me, it's kind of like intentionally walking somebody. You throw 4 bad ones, and then how often do you see the next hitter gets nothing to hit because a pitcher can't get back in the groove?
Back in the groove.
And I always thought it was kind of the same thing when you lose that aggressive mentality of going after a hitter for 1 batter. The next guy, maybe or maybe not.
Yeah.
Elvis getting a little grief.
I was safe by a mile. They thought about the replay, but they decided not to use it.
The Shields wagging that bat back and forth. Iwakuma ready. I think Delino thought he saw something else out of Iwakuma's hand, and at the last second just flicked the bat to foul it away. It apparently didn't have the velocity he thought it was going
to. What am I doing? He's just glad that went foul.
It's one of those ones. I hope nobody saw that, but Delino, I guarantee you they did.
It's all right. It's only a strike.
Yep. You get a base hit, nobody will get on you about it. Got him swinging. Well, that pitch down in that. It's a split finger pitch, and Iwakuma gets a strikeout, but not before the Rangers tie the ball game. 2 runs on 3 hits and 2 left. After 4, Rangers 2, Mariners 2. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, and nothing to hide. And by Mazda. In every car we make, you'll see why driving matters. Now a new lease on life for Martin Perez. Rangers put 2 on the board in the 4th inning. And the ball game now right back to where we started, dead even. Leonis Martin, starting things off against his former teammate, takes a fastball for strike 1. Martin led off the 3rd inning by walking, but Martin Perez able to gather himself and come back to get the next 3 hitters. And jumps ahead at this time, no balls, 2 strikes. Like to see Martin Perez go out there and really take the bull by the horns here. Right center field. Chu over there just in front of Delino DeShields, who was streaking in behind him.
Get out of my way, Delino.
And before Nori Aoki comes up, let's head over to Jim Knox.
All right, appreciate it, Buzz. This was the scene before the game. The Fox Sports Fan Express rolling into the ballpark here for the first time this season. And on board, of course, plenty of listeners at 105.3 The Fan, and Ben and Skin and JT. And you got all the fan listeners on hand. Ben, what a night you guys are having here at the ballpark, huh?
Noxie, we're having so much fun out here supporting the first place Texas Rangers with a bunch of loyal listeners of 105.3 The Fan. But Skin, as you know, only one person can really speak for us.
Who would that be, Skin?
Well, Noxie, a lot of people think it would be KT, but he's kind of a mute. So we now turn it over to the #1 ranked Ranger superfan on the Ben and Skin Show, Don Shepard.
Yeah, Jim, that's what's up. Yo, not only am I a super huge Ranger fan, but I'm a big fan listener. So if you're not tuned in to Mike Bassick and G-Bag with the Baseball Nuggets, or with my boy Betty over here with Baseball Ben, then y'all missing out. Let's go, Rangers!
You got it. Hey, we even got a Rick Reynolds lookalike out here tonight. New security guard at Fan Express. Way to go. All right, Ben and Skin. Tom, way to go. Thanks.
Wow. I tell you what, she could get you pumped up, boy. Yep. I'll take that motivation.
Yep.
I'll take that play from Rudned, too.
No kidding.
Rudned was good last year, but he's better this year defensively. He's already in 2 games. He's made some tremendous plays. Pretty good runner. Makes it look routine. Gets him by 3 steps at first base. Tough pickup on a hop. Backhands it. Throws on the run. Perfect throw to Mitch. Nice job.
Well, that is out number 2 at Odor. Already in this young season, several quality defensive plays. Ketel Marte, switch hitting shortstop up there from the right side. 0 for 2 tonight. He has popped out twice. Breaks a bat here, and Elvis will take care of it. Quick and easy, 1, 2, 3, and that's what you wanted to see from Martin Perez. Shutting down the Mariners, get the Rangers back in the dugout, let them go to swinging the lumber. 2-2, bottom of 5. The afternoon game, a finale of this 3-game set, a 105 first pitch. Fans can enjoy 50% off tickets in the corner box, upper reserve seating areas, or $34 tickets for the Cholula all-you-can-eat ports. That's courtesy of 1080 KRLD. Get your discounted tickets at texasrangers.com/specials and use the online coupon code KRLD Matinee. Shin-Soo Choo starting off against Hisashi Iwakuma. And the pitch inside to him. 2 balls, no strikes. Choo hit by a pitch in the first. Hit the ball sharply in the 3rd inning. And great play by Kyle Seager at 3rd. Took away a base hit. Right down the middle. 2-1. Inside, 3 balls and a strike. And Choo, as he did the second half of last year, having quality at bats. He just continued that right through spring training and into the first 2 games of the regular season. Ball 4. He is aboard to start off the Ranger 5th. Last half of 2015, Choo had an on-base percentage was second to none. He was up over 430.
Be a nice spot for Prince to roll one right down the 3rd base line.
I was kind of thinking the lower home run porch myself.
That'd be even better. That'd be even better.
You know, Prince kind of unveiled his power stroke the last couple of weeks of spring training. That ball's ripped but pulled foul.
Well, that guy in the front row had a glove, was in position, and fanned on it. That guy in the red hat.
Probably thankfully
got three ball players right there. They all have gloves. Let's see how close they came. They're ready.
Oh,
no contact. What? That hit something.
That got an elbow.
Put a glove on that elbow.
He did make contact. 1 ball and 1 strike. That really isn't funny. Yeah, right there. That's where I got
contact. He's saying to the guy in the red hat, if you caught it, it wouldn't have hit me.
That's what you call having a ball take a bite out of your arm.
Well, they better be ready for the next one.
1 ball and 1 strike to Fielder. Pop foul back this way. And it's 1-2.
All right, check out the guy in the red hat. He's got his glove. He fans on it. The next guy's got his glove. It's just not quite in the right position. He did protect the beer in his right hand, though, so that was successful. Right now, they don't know how much airtime they've had, but they'll find out.
Those are pretty big gloves, too.
They can rationalize it any way they want. The bottom line is that was a catchable ball.
Prince expanding his zone a little bit. Couldn't make contact with that offering from Iwakuma. That's out number 1.
That looked like a splitter from Iwakuma that just nosedived to the right. Look at that thing. Straight down and away. Prince is upset. That's a pretty nasty pitch. Looked a lot better when he thought about swinging at it than where it ended up.
That's a 4th strikeout tonight for Iwakuma. 1 gone. Adrian Beltre 0 for 2. A pop out and a fly ball to right. Beltre, a 5-year member of the Seattle Mariners. Signed a big free agent contract with him after his years with the Dodgers. Beltre played with the Mariners from 2005 through 2009. Oh, and 1. And Adrian, no smile on Adrian's face right there.
Iwakuma's throwing a little bit of everything, but he's not throwing anything right down the middle of the plate. They're all around the plate. They're all moving. They're all changing speeds. So far, he's doing a pretty good job of keeping it away from the middle of the plate.
And Lines it to left for a base hit. Chu will stop at second. 2 aboard with 1 out. Here comes Mitch Moreland. Beltre with his first hit of the 2016 season.
Another pitch is not a bad pitch. Nowhere near the good part of the strike zone to hit. Down and away, barely a strike. Adrian's able to stay with it and line it into left field.
Now, Adrian Beltre, as you well know, one of the best bad ball hitters. He can expand his strike zone and get away with it. And not many other people can. You got Beltre trailing Shin-Soo Choo now on the base paths. Here's Mitch, who doubled his last time up. That ball's hammered but hooked foul.
He waited on that off-speed pitch.
My goodness, look out, folks. Yeah, you're fortunate, sir, that you didn't try and catch that.
There's one that caught the center of the plate. Caught the center of Mitch's bat too, just a little bit too much out in front of it. That guy's saying bad luck. No, you should be saying thank you that you didn't make any contact with that ball. That one was right near the middle of the plate, and that's how Mitch hit it.
Again, this one's a little further foul. 0-2. The last time up, Mitch Moreland centered one up and got it in the gap. Had a breaking ball that stayed up a little bit for him. That was the first hit of that 4th inning. First time, really, the Rangers had made some loud contact. And it carried through the 4th inning when they tied the game. Our TXU Energy Power Player to Watch. Last season, Mitch career highs in both hits and RBI. Tied a career high in home runs with 23. Looking to add some more career highs to his ledger this year. Got him swinging toward his third. Chu has third base swipe.
Almost threw it in the left field too. That was pretty close. You don't steal bases off Iwakuma. That was a little bit different, though. That was third base, and he wasn't expecting that. Iwakuma usually much quicker to home plate. You can see Seager has to dive to his left to keep that ball from going into left field and saving a run. If he throws it on the bag, he might have had him.
Now, Chu, figuring out Iwakuma pretty well. The number of looks back to second base. Iwakuma only made one glance back there, and Chu was on his way to third. So runners at the corners after the Moreland strikeout. 2 away. And Ian Desmond, who has struck out and grounded out, trying to untie this ball game. And leans on a breaking ball. It's 1-0.
Perfect spot for Ian to get his first hit as a Ranger right here. Plate that go-ahead run.
He's had 4 of his teammates get their first hit tonight. Well, let's see if he can join the hit parade. Looks like he had that time pretty well, the breaking ball, but it was just a little too far outside. Ian Desmond this spring had 46 at bats, ended up hitting .326. There's that splitter. You can get a pretty good idea that coming in has to look a lot like a fastball that's going to be on the inner part of the plate, and it just dives further into a right-handed hitter. Good look again from shot out in deepest left center field above the Mariner bullpen out there. Two and two. Rangers 2 runs on 6 hits tonight. Mariners 2 runs on 2 hits. Desmond having a little chat with his bat. Say, okay, It's your turn to hit something solid. Hit it hard. Peltre almost got caught in no man's land. Took a huge secondary. I'm not so sure that Adrian didn't think that was a full count. No, he was just putting on that decoy.
That was one step too many almost.
He had me decoyed. Now with 3-2, Lee's saying, okay, I'm going to play behind him. Adrian will be off and moving with the next offering. How in the world did he make contact with that?
That thing might have hit him. His ball, Iwakuma's ball moves so much. You think about swinging and it feels like it's going to be a decent pitch. Then the movement just keeps coming and coming and coming. Somehow he got a piece of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was that splitter again that almost is like a screwball. Iwakuma getting ready to throw his 90th pitch of the night.
That pitch number 6 is the one that Ian just fouled off.
Yeah, and it started right on the inside corner, according to the way it looked to Ian. Beltre again on the move, and the pitch is popped up. Cano makes the catch. That'll do it. Rangers get a hit and a walk, but Strand 2. We played 5 innings here at Globe Life Park. It's the Rangers 2 and the Mariners 2 on Fox Sports Southwest. On the Astros on Tuesday, April the 19th, and the first 15,000 fans get a Jeff Bannister bobblehead. It's commemorating the 2015 American League Manager of the Year award, courtesy of AT Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com and help congratulate the Rangers skipper. Manager of the Year bobblehead. I like that. That's a good one. Speaking of a good one, how about what Martin Perez was able to do last inning? Settled down nicely, had a 1-2-3 inning very quickly. Now he's got to go through the teeth of the order for the Mariners. Cano, Cruz, and Seager. 2-2 ball game. To the right side. Moreland
nice
to Perez. Nice play. Perez keeping his body under control. Able to handle that for out number 1. Jeff Bannister, last year's Manager of the Year, 5th manager to win the award in his first season as a Major League Manager, and the 7th manager to win the division in his first season as a Major League Manager. 3rd Ranger manager to be honored with the the Manager of the Year award. The way the Rangers turned things around that last 2 months of the season, you would have to say a very, very well-deserved accolade for Jeff Bannister. The embodiment of never ever quit, and the ball club kind of took over that mantra. Here's Nelly Cruz. Hit a home run into the visitors' bullpen last time up. There's Tony Barnett. There's John Daniels talking about Tony, the scouting that the Rangers did over in Japan for Barnett. How impressed everyone was with him, and he's on the verge of making his major league debut here tonight. The first things first, Cruz against Perez. 2-1. Cruz has scored both runs for the Mariners tonight, that home run, and then of course in the second inning was hit by a pitch and came around to score on a Chris Iannetta single. Three and one. It's it out there in the Mariners bullpen. Nick Vincent, hard-throwing right-hander. Ball tailing away from Cruz, and he was right on it. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Cruz batting cleanup for the Mariners. He'll be followed by the third baseman. That's Kyle Seager. Yeah, with a lineup like this, you can tell why the Mariners were 5th in home runs as a team last year. 3-2 pitch is low, and Cruz draws the walk. Fourth walk surrendered by Perez tonight. 1 on, 1 out for Seager, who has had one of those walks. Doug Brocail on the right and Jeff Bannister. Brocail pitch counter in his left hand and a little notebook that he keeps pertinent information on during the course of the game. Seager, along with a walk, has popped out. Nice block by Chirinos. Kind of an in-between breaking ball that wasn't way out in front of home plate, but far enough to where Robinson had to be careful not to assume the ball was going to come up a little bit. Cruz at first, a modest lead. 1 ball and 1 strike on the foul ball. Now our Let's Motor player profile brought to you by Mini. Robinson Chirinos came over from the Tampa Bay Rays in April of 3 years ago. Began his pro career in 2001 as an infielder and converted to a catcher 2009. That was full-time conversion to the catcher. Richard Durrett, hardest working man of the year award in 2015 for the Rangers, and he is indeed a hard-working man behind the plate. 2-1 the count. Sharply hit, picked neatly by Moreland. It will go 3-6-3, and that will do it. Hits the right spot at the right time and made an easy double play. Second of the night turned by the Rangers. Bottom of the 6th coming up. We are still tied at 2. Well, it's time now for the Sonic Slam inning, brought to you by Sonic. Tonight's jackpot is worth $200 and dinner for two at Sonic Drive-In. If a Ranger hits a home run during this inning, Ann Davis from Arlington will win $200. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam in this inning, Ann's going to take home $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Well, Hisashi Iwakuma's night has come to an end after 5 innings of work. He gives way to the right-hander Nick Vincent. And Vincent will face the bottom third of the Ranger order. Vincent last year, 26 ball games, 2.35 ERA, and 10 walks and 22 strikeouts for the right-hander.
No home runs in 23 innings. Pretty good number.
Rougned Odor starting things off. Odor walked and scored in the 4th inning. Also flied out, 0 for 1 officially. Vincent from the stretch and misses low and inside. 2-1. That's fouled back and out of play. No, Iwakuma worked 5 innings, gave up both runs, 6 hits. He had a couple of walks, struck out 5. Rangers didn't do much with him until the 4th inning. They put stuff together for one of their 2 runs, scored again. And Rougned gone on strikes to start off the 6th.
That's a pitch I wouldn't think Rougned's going to miss a whole lot this year. A 90-mile-an-hour fastball right there. Just wasn't able to hit it.
Now, Nick Vincent came over from the San Diego Padres next to the last day of March, right at the end of spring training. Mariners have been hit by the injury bug in the bullpen. Scribner, Furbush down with injuries. Ryan Cook. Well, they went out and got what they could in Nick Vincent. They figured he could bridge the gap. And that's exactly what he is asked to do here in the 6th inning. Oh, 2 to Elvis. Again to right field. It's down in the corner, and it is foul. Elvis has that right field stroke dialed in tonight. His RBI single was laced to right in the 4th inning. So doggone, I just missed that a little bit. Another 0-2 pitch. That last swing tells you the problem that guys have that don't have that 96 or 97 mile an hour fastball. Vincent saw that Elvis was on a breaking ball and drove it pretty well to right field, tried to throw a fastball, and Elvis still quick enough, even though he's thinking right field, to foul that pitch back. 1-2. For a guy like Vincent, Elvis almost forces him to throw the ball inside, and if you make a mistake in there to Elvis, he will turn and drive the ball out of the ballpark. Marte boots it. Elvis is safe.
Had a range to his left, but looked like a pretty easy pickup, and Marte has a strong arm. He would have been able to make that play.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think even with Elvis running, if he comes up with it cleanly, he's got to play it first.
Not that tough a play.
Now that's going to be an error on Ketel Marte. His second error in as many games. Elvis at first with one out. Robinson Chirinos, who is 2 for 2. Takes high and tight for ball one. Chirinos has singled, doubled. He has driven in a run. His last season numbers. Injuries kept him out of the lineup for the better part of 2 months. Robinson said in the offseason he really dedicated himself to getting to the point where he was ready to assume everyday catching chores and not worry about the health issue. I guess for catching you always have to be concerned about it, but getting yourself strong enough, mentally prepared to catch 110, 120 games. One ball, one strike now. Vincent will check Andrews at first. Robinson looked like he had a pitch to work with there. It was up, out over the plate a little bit and fouled it back.
Yeah, with Iwakuma, you could count on one hand the number of pitches that were right down the middle of the plate. So far in this inning, there's been a bunch of them. It's pretty much here it is. See if you can hit it. He'll cut that fastball a little bit. Whether you want to call it a cut fastball or a slider. Fastball's 90-91. The other one's 87-88.
Elvis stepping his lead off at first. Dae-Ho Lee holding the bag against him. Elvis thrown out trying to steal back in the second inning. Vincent with a 1-2 pitch. Call strike 3. And Chirinos has a little something to say to Marvin Hudson as he walks back to the dugout. 2 gone.
Center fielder, Delino, steals.
Tough one. Trying to throw that pitch down and away. It's up and in. And he gets the call on the borderline pitch. Right at the top of the strike zone.
That was almost that backup slider that you talk about.
Yeah.
I don't think many hitters want that pitch called to strike. I mean, if it's so high that you can't swing at it. You know, Delino at the plate now. Certainly it has to be in Vincent and Ionetta's minds that Elvis might attempt to steal. The Shields tonight has struck out twice, grounded to short. Nothing in 1. I'm going to call that a slider.
Okay. I'll go with you on that.
Nick Vincent might not approve, but he can correct us if he wants to. One and 1. Elvis establishing a little better lead that time. Maybe reading Vincent a little bit better. Elvis talking a little bit with Hector Ortiz over there, the Ranger first base coach. Ortiz has the task of checking the timing. 3-1 on the putout. Rangers are gone in the 6th. No runs, no hits, an error, and 1 man left. On to the 7th we go in Arlington. The Rangers 2 and the Mariners 2 on Fox Sports Southwest. Before we go to the 7th, here's our 4-game summary. Nelly Cruz, his first home run of the year in the 4th inning. That gave the Mariners a 2-0 lead at that juncture, but back came the Rangers. Elvis Andrus, an RBI base hit to right, brought home Mitch Moreland. Then it was Robinson Chirinos pounding one through the left side. That scored Rougned Odor, and the Rangers tied it up. And that's where we stand as we head to inning number 7. And coming to the mound to make his major league debut here tonight, 32-year-old right-hander Tony Barnett. Barnett, an Anchorage, Alaska native. Last year in Japan, 59 games. He was a closer in Japan and a very successful one for Yakult. He had 41 saves last year, and that led the league, and he had 33 in 2012. That also led the league. He went over to Japan for the 2010 season. Originally the property of the Arizona Diamondbacks, who had him as their 10th round pick in 2006. So Tony Barnett, in the first pitch, it was a swinging strike to a pinch hitter, Seth Smith. Seth Smith coming off the bench to pinch hit for Franklin Gutierrez. Saw Smith in last night's ball game. Came on defensively. And Barnett, you'll notice that little hesitation, and that's something that you see a lot of pitchers that have taken on the Japanese approach to pitching. Do the little hesitation to gather themselves and direct everything down the slope of the mound toward home plate. Barnett at 6'1", listed at 190 pounds. And Seth Smith rifles one up the middle for a base hit. So the pinch hitter Smith reached Tony Barnett with a base hit to center. One on, nobody out for Chris Iannetta.
Fastball, pretty good tailing action. Stayed up, however, and Smith was able to line it into center field. A little bit toward the end of the bat, but got the job done.
Now Iannetta has not been put out by the Rangers this year. In 2 ball games, he's had 3 hits and a pair of walks. Rangers don't expect him to be asked to bunt in this situation, and he's not. Ball one sails high. Iannetta an RBI single in the second and a walk in the fourth inning.
I guess in this situation, with the hitters coming up behind him and the fact that Iannetta is hot, 3 for 3 on the season, decide to swing the bat right here.
One ball, one strike. Iannetta checking with Manny Acta down there at third base coach this year. Barnett check of first. Good off-speed pitch. Barnett, even though he was a closer in Japan, very much a 4-pitch pitcher. Couple of different breaking balls, fastball, changeup.
The one before it looked like a cutter. That one almost looked a little more like a slider, a little bit slower, slightly slower.
Advantage in the count at 1-2. Jake Diekman worked a very efficient inning last night, up and throwing. Look at the potential pinch hitters. Another left-hander, and Adam Lynn is on the bench. Check swing by Iannetta, just able to lay off that pitch, and it's 2-2. Mariners don't have any right-handed pinch hitters available coming off the bench. Scott Service, Tim Bogar as bench coach. All they have Adam Lynn and Steve Clevenger, the backup catcher, who's a left-handed hitter. Looped into center. The liner to Shields on the run and makes the catch. Trying to get Iannetta out. It took a very good defensive play by DeShields.
Yeah, fortunately that ball hung up just long enough for Delano to utilize that speed and come in and catch the soft line drive. Good look at the concentration. And an easy catch.
I had forgotten about Luis Sardinas.
I guess he's a switch hitter, right?
Yeah. And that's who is going to come off the bench now and pinch hit for the league. Former Ranger, Luis Sardinas, now with Seattle, and versatility made him very attractive. And now Doug Brocail going to go out and make sure that the scouting reports that are introduced virtually before every ball game to all the relief pitchers, make sure they kind of refresh it just a little bit. That 30-second clock gets Brocail out there in a hurry and makes him shorten up his message.
Rangers have a lot of depth, have had a lot of depth at the shortstop position. Sardinas was a nice prospect with the Rangers. Was used in a trade. Hanser Alberto is a candidate at some point in time to be an everyday shortstop. He's the utility player right now. And we saw a couple of other kids in spring training get opportunities to come up and play with a big league team. They look like pretty good young shortstops too. So a lot of them throughout the Rangers minor league system. And Sardinas, who was used in a trade.
He signed by the Rangers back in 2009. Remember, he went over to Milwaukee in the deal that brought Yovani Gallardo over to the Rangers prior to last year. Seth Smith, the runner at first, 1 out. Rangers at double play depth up the middle. And 0-2 as Barnett quickly jumps out in front. thinking of late inning relievers, primarily closers. The Rangers have had a couple of guys that fit into the multi-pitch role. Joe Nathan, there's a good fastball thrown right on by Sardinius for out number 2. Joe Nathan and Joaquin Soria both have the ability to throw 3 or 4 different pitches. Tony Barnett fits right in that. Two away, and Leonis Martin up there. Rangers should have a pretty good scouting report on Leonis after his 5 years in a Ranger uniform.
Well, one thing you know with Leonis, when he's hitting well, he hits the outside pitch to left field, but that's not very often. Generally, you make it sink down and away, and he's going to pull a ground ball to second base. We saw that a number of times. And where the target is, that's what he's trying to do.
Just missed off the outer edge. 1 ball and no strikes. Martin tonight has walked and flied to right field. Ball catches the inside corner, and Leonis in agony over that call.
Leonis has put the best whine on the umpire so far today. There's been a lot of hitters have felt that way. Leonis has shown it a little bit more than the others, but there's number 2 right in the middle of the plate, and that looked like a strike on our Fox tracks.
This one ripped into the corner and right. That is trouble. Chu will play the carom. Smith being waved around third. Chu can't pick it up. Smith is going to score ahead of the throw by Odor. And Leonis Martin on a hanging breaking ball puts the Mariners ahead 3-2 with a triple.
Yeah, he got the pitch that he can hit, a hanging off speed pitch right down the middle of the plate. And it would have been a play at the plate if Shin-Soo was able to pick it out of the corner, but once he reached for it and dropped it, that allowed Smith to get into the plate safely. That pitch is right in the middle of the plate without much on it, and it's going to go hard into the corner. Shin-Soo's going to get over there, and if he's able to catch it right here with his bare hand, there's a play at the plate. But the bobble allowed Smith to come all the way around.
So the Mariners now out in front 3-2. Leonis Martin at third. And back to the top of the order for Nori Aoki. Aoki tonight has grounded out twice and struck out. Now 3 runs on 4 hits for Seattle. The Rangers 2 runs on 6 hits. And that's a line drive base hit to right. That'll score Martin. Aoki thinks about going to second, but puts the brakes on. He is at first after an RBI single, and the Mariners now have a 4-2 lead. And Jeff Bannister on his way to the mound. And Tony Barnett, one hanging breaking ball to Leonis Martin, and that really spelled his undoing. Aoki followed it up by just stroking one to right. And Tony Barnett giving way to Jake Diekman. So Diekman on his way in, a pitching change underway here at Globe Life Park. Mariners out in front now 4-2. We'll take a timeout. We're back right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Put 2 on the board here in the top of the 7th inning, and against Tony Barnett, he was making his major league debut. Now Jake Diekman has come on to see if he can't get the final out in this 7th inning. Those are the numbers from last year with both the Phillies and the Rangers. Diekman, 26 ball games with the Rangers last year, an ERA of just over 2. Beltre going up the ladder, pulls it down. Ketel Marte is the out, so 1 pitch. Diekman gets the last out of the 7th. Seattle gets 2 runs on 3 hits and leaves 1. We'll take the 7th inning stretch with the Mariners leading the Rangers 4-2. Only T-Mobile customers can get a free season-long subscription to MLB.TV Premium. Just go to T-Mobile.com/MLB, sign up now, and catch every moment on America's fastest-growing LTE network. There's some folks out there doing their best on the T-Mobile network. Bottom of the 7th inning, Rangers now find themselves trailing by a couple. They will face a bullpen for the Mariners that has been much improved. Joel Peralta is the new pitcher now, and Peralta, the experienced veteran, an 11-year major league veteran, on to face Chu, Fielder, and Beltre. This is with a breaking ball. It is 1-0. Peralta in 33 games last year, 4.34 ERA. Peralta's been with the Angels, with Kansas City, Colorado, Washington, Tampa Bay, and the Dodgers. And now Seattle. One ball, 1 strike. Some defensive changes for the Mariners because of the pinch hitting of Luis Sardinas staying in the ballgame, playing at first base now. And Seth Smith, who pinch hit, is in right field. High and tight. 2 balls and a strike. Chu, 0 for 1 officially tonight. Has walked and been hit by a pitch. Sinking to the outside corner. 2-2. Noticed a higher than average number of guys that have not been in agreement with Marvin Hudson's ball strike calls tonight.
Well, it hasn't been just the hitters either.
Yeah.
It's one of those nights. A lot of borderline pitches. Tough night. Tough pitches to call for Marvin. A lot of pitches on the corners, off the corners, very close.
He's had a couple of pitchers, especially for the Mariners, that have had pitches that move all over the place. Different deliveries. That number 5 called the ball. And Peralta now not a fan of Marvin Hudson. 3-2. Little excuse me swing. It almost worked out pretty well.
Yeah, that was a borderline one. It's another pitch that can be a ball, can be a strike right on the corner. I think Shin-Soo probably glad that he was able to foul it off rather than wait and see if it was going to be called a strike. It could have gone either way.
An idea of the extent of the overshift by the Mariners. Seager, the third baseman, the only Mariner on the left side of the diamond. Peralta, after a big sigh, ready to work. Towering pop foul. Seager has to run forever and a day, but it's 5 rows out of his reach. You have to get in some oxygen to get back to the shortstop spot. Chu getting back in, ready for the 8th pitch of this at bat. Trying to get aboard to start off the Rangers' 7th. Texas now trailing by a couple. A pretty good rip at that fastball from Peralta, and it's still a full count. The numbers that Chu had against Peralta, 3 for 8 in his career. Rolls this one foul the other way. But Chu making Peralta work. Start off this inning. Going to be at least a 10 pitch at bat. And the right-hander tried to quick pitch him and
quick pitched him right to first base.
He did.
That's where the pitcher lost patience.
Yep.
Chu outweighted him. Tried to get cute with a quick pitch. And he walked him.
That's a good idea if it works.
Yeah.
It didn't. So Chu gets his 2nd walk of the night. He's been on base 3 times in 4 plate appearances. Brings up Prince Fielder, who is 0 for 2. A walk, a strikeout, a fly ball to center. Popped up on the right side, foul territory. Sardinius there. 1 gone. Fielder pops out on the first pitch that he sees from Peralta. Now a battle of veterans as Adrian Beltre will step in. Chu still at first. Beltre had his first hit of the year his last time up. He is 1 for 3 this evening with a single. Against Peralta, not a lot of success. And he's first ball swinging, it's popped up. Sardinius again. 2 gone.
First baseman, Mitch Moreland.
The one thing about it, when Chu gets on base in a 2-run game, you have the tying run coming to the plate, and that's the good news. The bad news is both Fielder and Beltre have popped out on the first pitch that each of them saw. You've still got one more chance with the tying run at home plate, the person of Mitch Moreland.
Oh, Mitch had some good swings in his last at bat. He ended up striking out, but he pulled a couple of balls with home run distance, a little bit foul down the right field line.
Moreland 0 for 4 against Peralta in past matchups. Off speed, in for a strike. Mitch doubled and scored back in the 4th inning. He hit a bullet to the gap in right center. Came around to score on Elvis Andrus' base hit. Fouled straight back. And Mitch down in an 0-2 hole. A lot of thinking going on about the matchups. Peralta set after a check of Chu. And Mitch able to stay alive. Outfield playing in a no doubles defensive alignment. Leonis Martin, about 380 feet from home plate out in center, and Aoki in left and Smith in right, very deep. I'm going to keep the tying run, which is represented by Mitch Moreland, from getting to second base. In the dirt, Iannetta, a nice block. 1-2 the count. Mitch checking with Spike Owen down there at third. Spike, the interim third base coach. Sam Dyson, Tom Wilhelmsen out of the Ranger bullpen. Wilhelmsen on the right. We'll try it again in a ball and 2 strikes. Last year, the Seattle Mariners used only 398 shifts last year. That was the 8th fewest in Major League Baseball. That figures to change quite a bit. Scott Service and the new general manager, Jerry DePota, very much into the advanced analytics that have become so in vogue. And 3 of the last 4 Ranger hitters have had it employed against them. They happen to be left-handed hitters. There goes Chu, and the pitch is chopped foul. So we'll reset and try it again. It's talking about the analytics. Not much debate any longer about the validity of the analytics. Where the debate comes is how much of the information do you employ actively. Some teams will say, well, we use about half of it or 3/4 of it or what have you. So I guess that's the only debate going. I don't think anybody argues anymore that it's of no value at all. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
If you talk to John Daniels and the Rangers, they will say that yes, they use it, but probably not as much as people around the league would say they do. Still depend on veteran scouting information, what their eyes tell you when you go out and scout a ball game. Still regard that as the #1 way to scout and develop players. But
Chu on the move, and Moreland down on strikes. Peralta works around the leadoff walk. Rangers gone in the 7th. They strand a runner. We go to the 8th inning. It's the Mariners 4, the Rangers 2 on Fox Sports Southwest.
Buzz and Tom, time for the Progressive Fan of the Game. We got to give it to Rita. Turned 80 years young today. Been a Ranger fan since day one, 1974. Here with a lot of her close friends. Congratulations, Rita. Having a good time. Here's the bag.
Fantastic.
All right, what do you got? Any big plans afterwards?
Well, going home and going to bed.
Oh, really?
Speak for yourself, Rita. Oh, that's for a change. We're going to Humperdinck and Margarita.
All right. Okay. Well, ladies, have a good time. Good to have you out here. Happy birthday, Rita. Thank you.
Speak for yourself.
That's right.
Thank you. I'm glad it
Now he moved to the 8th inning. And now the former Mariner, Tom Wilhelmsen, one of the newest members of the Ranger bullpen, a 32-year-old right-hander, on to face his former team. It'll be Cano, Cruz, and Seager. Heart of the order. Wilhelmsen last year, 53 games for the Mariners, 13 out of 15 in save opportunities. So he's one of 4 Rangers. And there's a drive to right. That is not going to stay in the ballpark. Cano into the upper deck with his 2nd home run in as many games. It is a 5-2 lead.
Cano went up there looking for the first fastball that he saw, and he got a hold of it. He wasn't waiting to get a look at it, that's for sure.
He was not. Robinson Cano, another solo home run, had one yesterday in his first at bat. That low fastball right down in his wheelhouse. So a 3-run Seattle advantage. And now Nelson Cruz, who had a solo home run of his own back in the 4th inning. One ball, no strikes. We're talking about the experience of Tom Wilhelmsen. He's had as many as 29 saves in a season for the Seattle Mariners. That was back in 2012. One of 4 pitchers in that Ranger bullpen that have had pretty extensive major league save experience. Sam Dyson has had quite a bit. Saw Tony Barnett or Sean Tollison, the Ranger closer right now. Cruz to right field. Long run in for Chu. He's going to have to stop and play it on a bounce. Throw into second and safe at second base. Elvis couldn't hang on to it. It looked like Cruz had gotten in underneath the tag anyway.
You know, the wind is blowing straight in from right field, and in this ballpark, when it's a low line drive, generally that doesn't hurt the line drive to right center field. It carries pretty well. But this one was way up in the air, and it looked like the wind really knocked this ball down. Chu was going to have to come in for it anyway. But by the time he got to it, he couldn't quite get there. If somehow Elvis was able to handle that short hop, would have been pick it up, throw him out at second. Unfortunately, the ball landed a little too close to him, and it wasn't easy to pick it up.
Well, that goes as a double. Cruz's second hit, second extra base hit of the night. Kyle Seager takes ball one. Mariners now as a team have 7 hits here this evening. And Seager rips one foul. The Mariners, not much of a secret, at least for the first 3 hitters that Wilhelmsen has faced, what they're going up there looking for. They're trying to find that fastball, and they're jumping on the first good one they see. One ball, one strike to count. Breaking ball hangs outside. Wilhelmsen from the Tucson, Arizona area. 2-2 now. Dom originally selected by the Brewers back in the 7th round of the 2002 draft out of high school. Played in 2003 and then trying to decide whether he really wanted to be a professional baseball player or not. Took some time off, worked in various jobs, and Seager ropes one down the right field line. It is hooking, and it's a fair ball. Cruz coming around third will score. The throw goes into second. Seager a looping RBI double. It is a 6-2 Seattle lead.
That's tough middle of the order. Cano, Cruz, and Seager. They all had extra base hits this inning. Curveball stayed up a little bit. Seager's able to wait on it just enough to keep it fair down the right field line.
Well, the Mariners on a pretty good extra base hit binge. They've had 3 in this inning and 3 other ones in the ball game. Well, 6 overall. Seager out of second. Seth Smith for his second at bat. He came on as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning. And a leadoff single and scored. And he drives one to right. That is way back, and it is gone to the upper deck. Seth Smith with his first home run of the year. It is an 8-2 Seattle lead.
And the Mariners tough on their ex-teammate tonight.
Doug Brocail out to the mound to give Wilhelmsen a little breather, but that was another one of those fastballs, and Seth Smith sitting on it got all over it. Andrew Faulkner up and loosening down that Ranger bullpen. So 4 hitters in the inning, 2 home runs, 2 doubles. 4 runs across. And Iannetta takes one off the knee. And he is jawing at Wilhelmsen.
Yeah, run out to the mound or shut up and go to first base.
That might have been exactly what Wilhelmsen was telling him to do.
Yeah. You want to yell, do something about it. Otherwise, go to first base.
Well, we got the skippers pointing at each other. Marvin Hudson getting in between Jeff Bannister, Scott Service. And Service talking to the crew chief over there, Jim Joyce. What Service is upset about, probably, is that he wanted to have an opportunity to get even, if you will. You took a disliking to what Jeff Bannister had to say.
That's always been one of my pet peeves. If you're the hitter, you got a choice. Will Clark used to get hit, drilled, knew it was on purpose, put his head down and go to first base. If you want to yell, you got a problem. The pitcher's 60 feet away and there's no one in your way.
That's exactly right. I agree with you.
It's not like you had it thrown at your head. There it is. You got plenty of time, kid.
A lot of talking.
A lot of talk.
And Scott Service not exactly thrilled. He didn't get very far out of the dugout either. I was going to apologize, but I couldn't read him very well.
I should have looked like we should have been able to tell what the skipper was saying, but I couldn't tell.
Well, as red as his face was, I don't think it was a dinner invitation. Jeff out to the mound, and Andrew Faulkner is going to come in. So try to restore some order here at Globe Life Park in Arlington. 1 on, still nobody out, 4 runs across, and we will come back right after this pitching change on Fox Sports Southwest. Now let's take a look at our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. We'll take you back when this was a much different ball game. Ruben Odor starting a double play. Great job by Martin Perez to get that. Then another outstanding play to start a double play. This one by Mitch Moreland. A couple of double play deliveries of the game brought to you by Jimmy John's and served up by Martin Perez. Well, order has been restored, although the skipper's temperature has not gone down completely, judging by his ruddy complexion. There's still a little steam coming out of the collar of Scott Service over there in the Mariners dugout. Andrew Faulkner has come out of the Ranger bullpen. Faulkner making his first appearance of the season. Faulkner last year made his major league debut with the Rangers in late August. Came up and appeared in 11 ball games. 9 2/3 innings, had 10 strikeouts and 3 walks. The left-hander made the transition from the starting role that he had in the beginning of 2015 to relief. And he and Luke Jackson both made that transition. Faulkner really took to it, as did Luke Jackson. Unfortunately, Luke Jackson this year in spring training came down with a bad back, and that forced him to be shut down for 3 weeks. Faulkner dealing the first pitch to Luis Sardinus, a drive to left field, and that ball is back into the seats. Well, the Mariners really teeing off. That's a 3rd home run in this inning.
Man, that might be the longest ball Luis has ever hit. He looked for a first fastball and hit it halfway up in the seats in left field.
Iwakuma scored. And Luis Sardinus makes it a 10-2 Seattle lead.
Sardinus getting a chance to fill that kind of super utility role, almost the same role that Hanser Alberto has for the Rangers. Came into the game and is playing first base, pinch hit for the first baseman, and playing first base in the game. He came up as a shortstop just like Hanser did.
Oh, still nobody out with 6 runs across here in the 8th inning. Jonas Martin, fly ball to shallow right field. Shin-Soo there to make the grab. That is out number 1. Well, Martin makes the U-turn, heads back to the third base dugout. He is 1 for 3. A little hitch in his get along. And you wonder why? Well, this is probably it. A little bit of a twist of the ankle. Top of the order once again. Aoki, and he takes strike 1. Aoki had an RBI single in the 7th inning, 1 for 4 this evening. And Faulkner jumping out in front, no balls, 2 strikes. 6 runs here in the 8th inning for the Mariners. Foul tipped in and out of the glove of Robinson Chirinos. 3 have left the ballpark. Got 3 home runs, 2 doubles, and a hit batter. And Faulkner has gotten the only out, and that was a fly ball to right. One and 2. Now the finale of this series tomorrow afternoon, a 1 o'clock start. Colby Lewis will till the hill for the first time in 2016. Wade Miley, new addition to the Mariner ball club. Aoki pokes one through the hole on the left side. A base hit for him, his 2nd of the night. 1:05 first pitch. Lewis and Miley tomorrow afternoon, and then the Rangers head to the West Coast, take on the Angels for 4 starting on Thursday, and then go up the coast and take on these Mariners the following Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Ketel Marte 0 for 4 tonight. Marte has grounded out twice and popped out twice. 0 for 8 in the young season. Marte facing Andrew Faulkner, 23-year-old left-hander from Aiken, South Carolina. 1-1. Excuse me, 1-2. That'll even the count. Aoki not being held at first. Faulkner sets. The ball driven up the alley in left center. Long run for Delino. The warning track, and he hauls it in. One step, and he pounds into the padding and hangs on. A long out, number 2.
There have been some hard hit balls in this inning. Marte was 0 for 4 looking for his first hit of the season. Hit the ball about as well as he can hit it to the gap in left center field. Got a fastball up and out over the plate, but Delino's able to run it down right in front of the wall. Got it tracked all the way, knows right where the wall is. Oh, well hit ball by Marte, but nothing to show for it this time.
Well, Delino for the first time in the first 2 games this year and needing all of his speed to go into an alley and track down a ball. And here's the man that started this entire mess in the 8th inning. That's Robinson Cano. Takes the first pitch inside for ball 1. I understand it's just been announced that Sam Freeman has been dealt to Milwaukee for cash considerations as Cano grounds out, and that is the end of the 8th inning. But 6 runs across for the Mariners. Rangers come to bat in the bottom of the 8th, trailing 10-2. Wednesday tradition is back this year. Tomorrow, it's the first Texas Chili Company Dollar Hot Dog Day of the 2016 season. Get out here to Globe Life Park for the last game in this opening series. Mariners will be here, and enjoy all the Texas Chili Company hot dogs you need for just $1 each. Visit TexasRangers.com for tickets. Well, kind of a dour mood for most Ranger fans right now. They finally have their home team trailing by a 10-2 count as Rangers come to bat here in the bottom of the 8th inning. New pitcher on the hill for the Seattle Mariners will be the right-hander Tony Zick. Zick, a 25-year-old. came over last year to the Mariners right before opening day, and he deals to Ian Desmond for ball one. Zick, originally the property of the Chicago Cubs, 46th round draft pick by the Cubbies back in 2008. Did not sign that year and was chosen the next year, or excuse me, after college in 2011 in the 4th round. His stock went up significantly. Fires a strike. Got a good arm. We've seen Zick a couple of opportunities to see this young man unveil that fastball. Went to the University of Louisville. And Desmond fouls it out of play to the right. 2-2. Ian Desmond still looking for his first hit of the season. He is 0 for 7. That fills the count. Ian Desmond batting 6th, to be followed by the Rangers' second baseman, Rougned Odor. A check swing roller by the mound. Seager unloads and just in time to get Desmond.
Close play. Desmond got down the line well. Seager's an excellent third baseman. Charged it, made an accurate throw. Rangers going to at least check and see what it looks like before they decide to look at the replay. See what we can see. Ooh, close.
That's the proverbial bang bang, and they're going to go ahead and use it. Use the challenge here. Give you a chance maybe to get Ian Desmond his first hit of the year, among other things. Boy, that is close, isn't it?
That's a tie.
I think he might have gotten there before the ball impacted the center of the glove.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah.
That was close.
So the headset's on. This is the first appeal we've had, isn't it? First replay we've gone to?
Yeah.
Didn't yesterday.
That'd be a good test for New York. All right, you're watching at home. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's safe, personally.
Is he touching the base right now?
I think he is.
Yeah, I think he's safe too.
It takes a close scrutiny, doesn't it?
Well, you can't get a better look than those two camera angles we're getting.
Right. Yeah, I think he's safe right there.
I'm saying safe.
Yeah.
I didn't see it at first, but you're right. I think you're right.
Jim Joyce, the crew chief, talking to the replay command center back in New York. Also the umpire that made the call, James Hoy, down at first with the other headset. And Ian Desmond's batting average in the balance right here. Rangers would love to get a man aboard to start things off. They have a lot of catching up to do. They trail by 8. And he is safe.
Oh, good call, guys.
The request for a replay is rewarded. And Ian Desmond has his first hit in 2015, an infield single. There you go, Ian. That may be about as close as you can make it.
We had a perfect view of it, and it still took a while to figure it out.
Over the Rangers, their 7th hit of the night. And Rougned Odor takes low and outside for ball 1. Odor has walked and scored. Other than that, 0 for 2. Zick popping it in there at 95 miles an hour. 2 balls, no strikes. Zick last year in his 13 games with the Mariners had 24 strikeouts in 18 innings of work. to center field. Ball's well hit, but high enough the wind will have an effect on it. Leonis Martin back there to haul it in. That is allowed out number 1. Take a look at our AT high-speed internet replay for you. The liner to Shields using that speed in center field, and he needed it coming in on a ball and going back and to his right on a ball. That is high speed, just like AT&T's internet. Go 1-on-1 out now. Elvis Andrus. Elvis 2 for 3 with an RBI and a pair of singles. Sharp breaking ball down and away. Elvis taken all the way. That evens the count at 1-1. Zick trying to get that slider to come back over the inside corner, just missed. 2 balls and a strike. Zick, a 6'3" right-hander. He's listed at 190. Misses inside. 3 balls and a strike.
I think Elvis thought that ball was going to hit him.
Yep.
It was coming in, tailing in on him.
Desmond at first, 3-1 the count. Now full count. And call strike 3. Fastball tailing back to the outside corner. That is out number 2. And Robinson Chirinos now will come on.
He's got pretty good movement on that fastball. Elvis might have thought it was outside, but it came back and caught the outside part of the plate. Outside half of the plate. Good movement on that mid-90s fastball for Tony Zick.
It's not a normal combination. High speed and that kind of movement on it. Late movement. Chirinos, a pair of hits tonight, a single and a double. He has driven in a run. Good fastball, foul back. Chirinos asking Marvin Hudson if that pitch was high, and Hudson gave him an affirmative answer. One and two. Zick made 3 stops last year in the Mariners organization. Started at Double-A Jackson and moved up to Tacoma and finally finished up in Seattle for his final 13 appearances. Got him swinging. Oh, Zick, back-to-back strikeouts, ends the 8th inning for the Rangers. No runs, a hit, 1 left. We're going to the 9th. It's the Mariners 10 and the Rangers 2.
Work to do as we head to the top of the 9th inning, trailing the Mariners by a score of 10-2. This is the second of a 3-game series to open the season between the Mariners and the Rangers. Game 3, the finale, tomorrow here at Globe Life Park in Arlington, 1 o'clock first pitch. Nelson Cruz continuing his hot hitting this evening. Hopefully Colby Lewis can slow that down, coming off his 17-win season in 2015. Thank the folks, fine folks, at AT high-speed internet for getting us ready for Game 3 and the finale of this series tomorrow, fellas.
All right, and thank you. Well, Andrew Faulkner back out to work the 9th inning. He'll face Cruz, Seager, and Smith. And the first pitch to Nelly Cruz is ball 1. Big night for Cruz. He has homered and doubled, hit by a pitch, and walked. 2 for 2 officially. He has scored 3 runs. And driven in the 1 on his solo home run. Two balls and a strike. Mariners with 3 home runs in the 8th inning. And Cruz's home run in the 4th inning. Kind of the same story that Mariners had last year. We mentioned they're 5th in home runs as a team, but next to last in runs scored. They hit a lot of home runs, but could not score many runs with those home runs. It got better the second half of the season, but it just wasn't what you'd expect. We've seen that in the first 2 games here.
Yeah, Nelly hit .302, hit 44 home runs, but only had 93 runs batted in. That's a good number, but with 44 home runs and a lot of men on base, you would expect 15 or 20 more.
Towering pop fly into shallow left center field. Delino handles that. 4 out, number 1. The first time Cruz has been retired tonight. And Kyle Seager coming up.
Third baseman Kyle Seager.
You know, compare that to Prince Fielder. Prince hit about the same as far as average goes, half as many home runs and the same amount of RBIs.
Yep.
Just probably had some more opportunities. Rangers, especially in the second half, Delino, Shin-Soo were on base all day long. And Prince took advantage of that.
Seager takes ball 1. And that was one of the things that Jerry DiPoto tried to address when he became general manager last September, was the club's inability to get people on base, have high on base percentage people at the top of the order. And he went out and got Marichka Aoki to sit up there at the top and hope that Ketel Marte would kind of advance to become that kind of an on-base guy. Set up Cano and Cruz and Seager. And Seager pops this one up. Beltre with a play. Well, you see Adrian Beltre staggering around under a pop fly. You know the wind's playing tricks with it. Oh, 2 gone. Here comes Seth Smith. No sure things on pop-ups out here on a windy night like this. And I'm sure King Felix had something to say to Beltre about that attempt of a catch. Felix got that hair working. That's a new look for him, huh?
He's got the same look on his goatee. That's a great look.
Seth Smith, since entering the ballgame in the 7th inning, has homered and singled. He has scored twice, driven into. Super sub tonight, Seth Smith. Weekly hit out to Rougned Odor. And that will take care of the Mariners. 3 up, 3 down, and just a base hit in 2 innings of work allowed by Andrew Faulkner. Bottom of the 9th coming up, 10-2 Seattle.
Rangers down 10-2 in game 2 as we head to the bottom of the ninth. Hi there, Dana Larson here reminding you we've got Rangers Live, the post-game edition coming up. Join me, Mark McLemore, and Pudge Rodriguez as we discuss what happened in this one. We'll hear from the manager, Jeff Bannister, get reaction in the clubhouse, and set up tomorrow afternoon's finale with Colby Lewis set to make his season debut. That's all coming up right after the game on Rangers Live. But now we get it over to Buzz and Tom, guys.
All right, Dana, thank you. See if we can drum up a big Ranger rally here in the ninth inning. The rally hats are out. I guess those are rally hats, aren't they? Turn them inside out anyway. I know
that's
that.
a rally hat, yeah.
Top of the Ranger order, man, Delino to Shields up there to start things off. Tony Zick out for his second inning of work. This is with ball 2. Delino 0 for 4 tonight. A couple of ground outs and a couple of strikeouts. Rangers need a base runner or 2 or a dozen. And Delino being stingy up there, not giving away anything. 3 balls, no strikes. Zick last inning gave up the infield single to Ian Desmond to start things off, then got a fly ball and a couple of strikeouts. And he has come back from 3-0 now to run the count full to Delino to Shields. The Shields trying to get aboard. Shin-Soo Choo, the Ranger right fielder, in the on-deck circle. Ball 4. Now that's a start. They can't do something here against Tony Zick. Shin-Soo Choo has walked twice and been hit by a pitch tonight. One time he did hit the ball sharply. It turned into an out. So he's trying to figure out how in the world to hit the ball sharply and not have it be an out. A strike to the inside corner. Choo, as you know, last season that 276 average, but very deceiving. This time last year he was in the process of going through an April to forget. He ended up hitting 096 for the month of April. Took him the better part of 3 months to get his average back to respectability.
Yeah, and Shin-Soo hasn't had a hit this year, but he's been on base 4 times.
Yeah.
Walked 3 times, hit by a pitch.
And Ed out there to talk to Tony Zick and remind him that, hey, it's a 10 for us on the scoreboard. 10-2. Two and 1. That will even the count. Pretty sharp breaking ball on Choo. Almost took his front foot off with that foul ball. Rangers making Zick work a bit. 30 pitches and in his second inning of work. Going the other way. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, the Rangers, for the second game in a row against Seattle, fell behind 2-0 and then came back to tie the game in the fourth tonight. Called strike 3 as Chu backing out from that inside fastball, and Zick gets his third strikeout.
Let's see if this one came back and caught the plate. Zick, we were talking about him last inning, had a really good movement on his fastball. He's trying to throw it in, and does it come back? I thought it might have come back. Not sure whether it caught the corner or not. Borderline pitch right on the corner. Probably a little closer to the plate than Shin-Soo thought. That late movement brought it back.
Broken bat. Cano to second, and the return for the double play, and that will do it. So Zick ends up walking the leadoff man, gets a strikeout and a double play, and the Rangers have lost their chance to go 162-0 as the Mariners defeat them tonight by a 10-2 final. We will total things up for you. Come back with more from Globe Life Park right after this on Fox Sports Southwest.